CoCoTALK is an unscripted live broadcast. Anything can and will happen. The views and opinions expressed by members of the panel and the live audience are their own and not necessarily those of the CoCoTALK show, its sponsors, affiliates, or subsidiaries. Open minds encouraged, sense of humor recommended. If any off-color comments were made, we're sorry.
Hi, this is Dale Lear, designer of TRS-80 Color Baseball, and you're listening to CoCoTALK.
That was awkward. This is CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color computer. It's time to drop your socks and grab your real-time clocks and let's rock.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
All right, we are back and welcome to episode 114 of CoCoTALK Live. We are the most livest ever. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, and live audio on Spreaker. Who could ask for more?
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
All right, and here we are. We are live. We are liver than ever. We are the most livest because we are just multi-streaming across the multiverse. We are live streaming on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Periscope. We have live audio on the Spreaker, live audio podcast platform, all live, all interactive for your listening and viewing pleasure. And speaking of your viewing pleasure, look at this panel of beauties here. We've got the frickin' Brady Bunch up here, the Hollywood Squares. In the top left-hand corner of the panel here, we've got Mr. Mark Bosley. Welcome, Mark.
Hello, everybody.
Next to Mark from Arizona, we've got Ron Delvo. Hello, Ron.
I'll take TRS-80 for 400. Oh, wrong show.
Yes, we do. We also have with us from Canada, the man whose name is so nice that we must say it thrice. Let me see if I have the right button here. It's Nick Marotta. How goes it, Nick?
Good afternoon and a happy Canada Day to all my fellow Canadians coming up on Monday.
All right, happy Canada.
Good long weekend.
Happy Canada Day to all you Canucks. Also from Canada, our Hispanic member of the panel, L. Curtis Boyle.
Hello, everyone. I do have a question. Last week we were more liverer. Now we're the most livest. What are we going to do next week? What tops that?
We'll have to wait and see.
Zombie episode.
The undead.
An online electrocution.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Hopefully not.
In the center square. In the center square. Some call him Greg, but we know him as the internet's own Grant Leety. Hello, Grant.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today?
We are doing just loverly. And speaking of loverly, next to Grant Leety, the guy who gets many things and makes us jealous, Mr. Brian Weasler is with us.
Hello, all.
Welcome back, Brian. We have a special guest, the neighbor of Ron Delvo, and a guy who's made all kinds of cool hardware projects, including a very cool Coco 3 repack he's working on right now. His microphone's muted. Hopefully he'll be able to respond to us. Hello, Paul T. Barton. Hello, Paul.
I'll speak for Paul. Hi there. I'm doing fine.
By Ron Delvo today.
We have royalty in the house. We have Sir David Ladd, Lord of the Floppy. Hello, David.
Good day, everyone. I can't wait to see how the show goes today. Is everybody ready? I know I'm ready. Let's get this show started. darn it!
Yay! Yes, Mr. Enthusiasm himself. And last but certainly not least, all the way in Australia, down under, Nicholas
Crikey.
Morantes.
G'day, everyone. Hey, can I ask to be moved away from David Ladd? Being next to David, being next to him has me worried. So.
Okay. Yeah, just whatever. Just put a little partition there or something. All right. Well, we've got a hopefully halfway decent show for you today. No guarantees, no promises, but we'll try not to suck. Now that we've gone through the panel introductions, does anybody have a possible project update or acquisition they want to talk about this week?
I have an acquisition.
Okay, Grant Leedy has an acquisition. What have you acquired, Grant?
Well, I was surprised Thursday to get a package on my door from Paul Fitzgerald, and everybody's gonna love this. I got a MC10.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it. It was a nice surprise, and thanks a lot, Paul. I really appreciate it.
MC10.
Good timing. It's summer over there. You can keep the window open.
Well, he did write me a letter, and that was one of the things that I had a promise that I would not use it as a doorstop or a window.
Window prop. Did
yeah.
you get the power supply and
Yes, he did include a power
manual?
supply with it as well.
Do you have the RAM upgrade too, or are you stuck just doing 4K games?
I don't know. I haven't powered it on yet. So how would I be able to tell?
The RAM upgrade is basically a cartridge that plugs into the back of it.
Okay, so yeah, there's nothing there for it. So I'm assuming that.
Okay.
Yeah.
4K? Those two screws come out, and then if you bought the pack or could get one, you can plug it in the back.
Isn't the power pack a wind-up key?
No, so that was a nice surprise. And again, I want to say thank you very much, Paul Fitzgerald. I really appreciate it.
All right, Paul Fiscarelli to
Very nice.
the rescue with the MC10 surprise package there.
Does he hate you that much?
I think Brian Weezer had prepared us for something. Are you going to be doing an unveiling or an unboxing for us today, Brian?
I can wait, or I can do it right now.
Well, we'll save you for last. So if anybody else has a project after, like I'm wondering if Paul T. Barton wants to talk to us about his Coco repack he's got on his table there that he's been posting. Welcome to the program, Paul.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, it's up and running. I've tried EOU on it, and it works fine.
What all you got in that case? From here, what we can see is it looks like an old PC case, like an AT style mid tower case.
Right. I'm sorry the light isn't very good here.
That's okay. I just made your video a little bigger. So, looking into that case, we see a plethora of things. Why don't you tell us what's inside that PC case there? I see a Coco SDC.
It's Roger Taylor's old Coco Tower motherboard that he repacked years ago. And when I bought it from him, he gave me all the extension cables and everything. So they all come out the back side here. So you've got access to all the joysticks and everything outside the case.
Okay.
And it has a Cloud9 keyboard converter.
Okay.
That every once in a while it goes to New York or something. I don't know what it does, and it starts typing characters all over the screen. And the only way to fix it is to turn the whole thing off and turn it back on again. So I have a fake MPI plugged in there, and I have an SDC and a hard drive controller and one hard drive, no floppies. I have floppies in a box, but I don't have a controller yet.
So you've got a real hard drive inside there plugged into your Coco.
Yeah, it's partitioned into 8 partitions, and each one's about, 4 gigs, I guess.
Wow.
It's like 160 gigabyte drive, and I'm using about 1.1% of it or something like that.
But that's super
Can't
cool.
get to all of it. I could fill up the whole memory with partitions, and then I wouldn't be able to do anything.
Wow. That's really cool.
So it works.
And you've got some pictures of that on Ron's Facebook group, right?
Right. The video on what Roger did is he installed a 10-pin socket on top of the motherboard for the video. So I had to make a little short side switcher cable to get it to plug into the monitor.
That's a cool little project.
Yeah, those used to be pretty popular in the
I'm not
90s.
done
A
with it.
lot of people did those repacks, but they kind of died off after that for a while. So it's good to see some
Well,
again.
this came with no keyboard or anything, and it did have a triad, one of these. So I talked to Boyson about modifying this to 1 meg, and he said, "Yeah, you just pull a couple of pins and wire it to his board. You've got 1 meg." So,
cool.
But you have 8 in there.
But I've got 8, so I'm fine.
Is this your own? Is this your NoCan 8 meg board?
Yeah, it's Rev 2.
Ah,
The original ones were, well, you know, Curtis, how big they were. They're
Oh yeah,
huge.
It was a satellite board. It filled
Yeah,
most
no
of the
kidding.
but it was 8 meg and high speed serial port and a clock doubler circuit. And, yeah, it was not just the RAM.
Very, very
all
cool.
kinds of stuff on it.
Is there any
Yep.
chance you might be coming to any of the events like VCF Midwest or Tandy Assembly where you could bring this and people could see it in person? You got any plans to do any of the road shows?
I'd have to save up a lot of money.
Well, Rob Inman's moving into Arizona with you guys. I think he's pretty loaded, so he could probably afford to take you and Ron on the road with him. So.
Well, we could both see. It would be
Plus-
really
plus this-
fun. I've never been to one, so it'd be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, since this year's the upcoming one is the 40th anniversary of the Coco, I think we're going to help crowdfund a few people to get down there that normally can't afford to.
Yeah, we should probably do that.
Maybe we'll see if we can chip in for you to come down too.
Yep.
Okay.
That
Where would that
cool.
be? Chicago?
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be at the
Late April, isn't it?
Grant,
Grant,
you're muted, Grant. You're still muted, Grant.
It's April 18th and 19th.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Rob Inman says they'll all be live at Ron's Garage. So Rob Inman and Paul Barton and Ron Delvaux will all be together for a special episode of Ron's Garage Talk. So that'll be cool.
Yay.
All right, we're going to save Brian Weasler for last, but does anybody else have a project update or acquisition or show and tell story they want to share? Anything
I
like
have
that?
one brief project update. I'm still working on EUView number beta 5, the official beta 5. I've kind of mislabeled the release 2 because I'd already started beta 5 when I found the bug and fixed it. But we found another bug that's apparently been quite long outstanding. The arc command, if you're doing a diagonal cutoff on where it stopped drawing the circle or an ellipse, apparently has been buggy if you had any negative values for your X or Y coordinates since at least 2006 when we were going back through the code, where it would draw completely wrong, like not even close to what it was supposed to be doing. So I did some comparisons between the original stock OS 9 level 2 and then the 609 version, which works fine. And I spent a good couple of days this week figuring out where the bug was, found it, fixed it, and it seems to be working. So that bug fix will be included in the upcoming Ease of Use beta 5.
Very cool.
Nice.
Excellent. All right, so is that all we have for project updates and acquisitions? Because Brian Weasler is going to have hopefully a very interesting thing to show with us, and I want to make sure I save that for the kind of.
Yeah, and Nick Morendes will do his during the game on.
Yeah. All right, so anyone else have anything they want to talk about this week? If not, we will hand the floor over to Brian Weasler. Let me spotlight your video, make your video large.
Yeah, a while back, earlier this year, I had shown, you can kind of see it over my shoulder there, all the magazines, and then there's some up above over here. And there was a guy out there in Ohio, Mark Holmemeyer, I think is how his name is pronounced. He had posted out on Facebook that he had some magazines if anybody was interested, but he wanted local pickup. And I messaged him anyway, and he didn't have anybody that was local that was interested in it. So him and I worked out a deal where he was going to box them up, and if I agreed to pay the shipping, he'd send them to me. And so I got all the magazines. Well, recently he reached out to me again and said that he was going through his stuff because he's getting ready to move to a smaller place. and he came across some other stuff that he thought maybe I might be interested in, and if I wanted it, I said sure. So I really don't know all what's in here. I know it by the weight. I'm thinking there might be some more magazines, but he also said he had some games and stuff, and I thought it might be kind of fun just to open it up on air here with us all and just see what he had to share with all of us.
Okay.
So here's one of the boxes here. It's kind of heavy.
Wow.
So here's a heavy box. So I'll go ahead and
it's like a carton of copy paper. If you'd ever bought a
That's about what it
case
amounts
of copy
to.
paper, yeah.
So here I got a sharp object. I'm not sure if we should be doing those or not. But
So we don't know what's in this box. So this is
nope. Other than it's heavy, yep. I don't know. He just kind of gave me a rough list, but I don't know what types of games or magazines or anything that's in here. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we got a whole bunch of games here again. Or let's see. This might be a little preview of what might be in here. So here's some manuals.
Okay.
So chess and okay, we got Bust Out.
Bust Out. Al Hartman saying it's full of MC10s. Skiing. Yep. These are the older, early release Tandy games. Polaris. Yeah.
Polaris.
Yeah.
Okay, and it looks like let's see what else we got here. Okay, this is not Tandy related. So Hardball 5.
Oh yeah.
Disc game. So
the great follow-up to Hardball 4, which I'm sure you're all very familiar with.
Let's see what else we got here. We got a floppy disk here.
Down, David.
Let's see here.
That was fast.
T&D subscription software.
Okay.
The best of
one of the subscription tape magazines.
Yeah, and so it looks like it has like Trek, Galactic Conquest, Warlords, The Power Sword, Steps, Robot Bomber, Force Field, Rat Attack.
Oh, that's the Snafu game.
Caterpillar Cave, and Meteor.
Okay, neat. Nice packaging too.
Yeah. Let's see here, and then we got looks like a kind of a scrunched up manual here. I'm not sure what the disk manager for the TRS-80 color computer and TDP System 100.
The disk manager.
So I'm not sure what this like a manual.
So probably some type of file management.
Yeah, I'm not sure here. Disk manager. If you use a disk drive and need this program, it doesn't does more. Okay, look. Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. So something like for directories and stuff. I'll have to maybe
kind
read
of
up
like
on that
a Norton Commander for RS-DOS, possibly.
Okay. Yeah.
You can view your directories and stuff, maybe.
Gantlet.
Gantlet. Look at that. Gantlet. Look at the high. Yes. Yes.
If I remember correctly, David Dye's younger sister, I think, is the one who did the artwork. She was in school at the time.
Oh, okay. Let's see what else we got
Lori,
here.
I think her name is.
Oh, Rob Inman says that Hardball came out for the ZX Spectrum, and it could be a Coco project.
It could be. Radio Shack Integrated Circuit Volume 1 projects.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Volume 1.
And then we have Integrated Circuits Projects Volume 4 op amps. And 99 electronic projects. So you must have dabbled a little bit there.
Got 99 projects and a glitch ain't one. All right. So.
I think I have that book.
I hope a real-time clock is one of them, though.
Yes.
There we go.
Yes, real-time clock.
Okay, and the rest of this is magazines.
Any,
looks like he has
no girly magazines, right?
None that I've come across yet, so I will share. PCM magazine, it looks like is what he has here. Some
PCM.
It looks like this from the October of '90. So this looks like when Windows was just starting to come out back in the time.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how much Coco related is going to be in here, but
that's that if I remember correctly, that is like Tandy 1000s.
Oh, okay.
That's what that is. It's, if I'm not mistaken, and Curtis, correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh yeah.
That magazine was also published by Faultsoft, correct?
Yes, I think that was
Because
Lonnie had a PCM magazine, he had a Model 100 magazine, and then he had one for doing like video cassettes or DVDs or something.
Okay, yeah, they got Deskmate right here then. So
Okay, yeah. If they're showing Decimate on there, it's got to be Tandy related, right?
Right. So that's what the rest of the magazine is, or the rest of the box here looks to be. As I'm thumbing through here real quickly. Yep, I believe that's what the rest of the box is all the volumes of that, or however much of it is in here. Let's see here. Oh, way down to the bottom here. What do we got? Oh, a little lid.
Phantasm.
There you go. Can't have enough of those.
You can send a spare one to Nick in case his blows up.
There you go. Yep, that is what the rest of this box is the rest of the volumes of PCM. Okay, we got one more box about the same size.
Just anybody watching us right now, I'm seeing some chatter internally about people saying there might be a problem with the internet or the feed or the stream. Anybody watching us live, please let us know if there's any audio or video quality issues that you.
None here.
No.
It's running smooth silk. Well, aside from the show itself, but
yeah, right.
Oh, it's all good here on my side too.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking it must just be me.
Okay. Nick Marotta says, when you really like programming in assembler, you get EdTasm.
Okay, second box. We got the program catalog.
Yes, that came with just about every cartridge. Those are neat. I've got a number of those. Yes,
and the second
yeah,
one.
You should have.
Silly Syntax from Sugar Software. Looks like a manual.
It's silly, I tell you.
Not
Okay.
sure. I've never heard that one. Can't quite read what this is here. Some sort of a Ziploc bag here.
It's keeping that software fresh.
And another.
Okay, another Tandy catalog.
Yep. How many of those?
Ken Reichert says there is a problem. I can see and hear the show perfectly.
Something about Spectral Associates, it looks like.
Spectral Associates, Ghost Gobbler.
Ghost Gobbler, Waka Waka.
Yep.
Good Pac-Man. Good Pac-Man.
Galaxy or Galax Attacks?
Galax Attack.
Galax
Yep.
Attack,
Galax
Spectral Associates. Okay.
Okay, yep. And same thing again here. Looks like you must have had a lot of these manuals. I haven't seen the software. Bubblegum Software and Novel Pinball. Not sure what
Nova
that's all
Pinball.
about.
Yep.
Nova Pinball. Oh, neat.
Okay. Looks like some artwork here for Doodlebug.
Computerware. Yeah. Ladybug clone.
We have a dust cover for a disk drive.
Oh, nice. The Slimline disk drive. Okay.
Yes.
David, do you have any of those?
He's silent. Another color baseball.
See, that says Tandy. An earlier version would have said TRS-80, so that's a variant on that.
That's a recent
Okay.
one.
Yeah.
Yep, I'll have to look. Yeah. Okay. Another Rainbow magazine here. Looks like September of '83.
No, the White Coco 1. That was my dream machine at the time. Yes.
And let's see here. More the PCM here. He must send me a lot of the PCM magazine.
Okay. I would wager those are probably somewhat uncommon. I don't know how many people have got.
The Rainbow Book of Adventures.
Oh, nice.
Oh, the first one.
Very nice.
Yeah, those are rare too, I think.
Contest.
Yeah.
I think I might have one of those from one of the Coco Fest auctions.
Yeah, and I do believe those PCM magazines are rare because, if I'm not mistaken, there is no archive of those anywhere on the internet that I have been able to find so far. So
interesting. Rainbow Fest Chicago.
Okay, a program. So this is a program from the show.
What year is it on the front there?
Yeah.
What year is it on the front?
April 10th and 12th, 1987.
Wow.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I was at that one. I thought I recognized it.
And Rainbow Fest program exhibit May 23rd, 25th of 1986.
Wow.
That was the very
Chicago
first
Rainbow
one I
Fest.
ever went to. Who's this you got it from?
His name is Mark Homemel, Hoemmelme. YER, home.
I
home
don't
MLR,
know the name,
home
but
MLR?
obviously we were at the same fests.
Yeah. Color Computer News.
Ah, neat.
Oh, that's cool. That was actually the most technical magazine we had. Unfortunately, it was rather short-lived, and it wasn't professional and slick. It was obviously done by hobbyists.
Oh, okay. Looks like we have 8 issues of it here.
Wow, nice.
Did you have the color ones with the picture of the dragon and the tarantula and stuff on the cover? The later ones, like right up to when they ended.
They look like they're in really good condition too. Like they have not yellowed or
Yeah, mine
dried
aren't
out
that
or
good
anything. Yeah.
No, Curtis, they all look the same. They all have that kind of just
Yeah,
this
well, that's
type
the
of,
earlier issues, and that'd be 82 and earlier then.
Where do they got the date on this thing here? That's interesting. They put it on the
Yeah,
inside.
Terry Steen, creator of Balloon Fighter and Gray Lady, is asking, "Are you selling any of this stuff?" You might have a whole market here. So,
let's see here. Color Computer News. This must be this is where they started a little more updated. As you were talking about, Curtis.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
83. They started doing the color covers.
okay.
They also had a bunch in early 83 where they did just nature scenes, like pictures of snow-covered trees and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, this one here says June of 83.
So is it like seasonal? It's trying to show you what
They
the.
were for a bit doing seasonal, but they actually
Okay.
was, I think September of 83 was the last issue because that's when they went under rather suddenly.
Okay, and it looks like the rest here in the pile right here is all of. Looks like he has quite a selection of the Color Computer magazine.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
Ken or Kerry Leichtman or something, I think, did that one. Can't remember the guy who started that one, but that was a really nice slick magazine.
Yeah, and it looks like the box is pretty well filled with that. Does that go over to the bottom here?
Erico has just joined us in the live chat. Hey, Erico. And Alto Zombie and Mixer watching us live out there says hi. Hello, Alto Zombie.
In 1 second here, there's
quite the collection here.
Let's see here. So yeah, here's more of the. I think these are the ones you were talking about here, Curtis, where they got like here's the one of the Earth.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Color Computer
Yeah.
News. That's got a picture. Is that a dragon that was shown?
No, that's the Unmarked Data
the
Products
Marked
keyboard.
Data?
In, Coco. Yeah.
Yeah,
They have a
yep,
separate
there's
one
a
with a dragon. I think it has a tarantula crawling on the keyboard or something, if I remember.
And here's
Okay.
like a nature scene.
Some of your winter ones.
No.
Yep. And then more of the ones that are more just the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one here.
That's the magazine that Frank Hogg originally published the very first 64K upgrade article and also did the 64K corner for that we talked to him about when we interviewed him.
Oh, okay.
That's the magazine it appeared in.
And this must be a very early one here because it's November, December 1981, Volume 1, Number 4 of the Color Computer News. This one's
Cool. I don't have any that old.
Wow. Man, these are relics. This is a great.
These, if you can, get them scanned because that's actually, like I said, it's got a lot of the hardcore technical information, some of the very first hardware and software upgrade projects and stuff. That's where they showed up. Like, Rainbow at the time was much more consumer oriented. This was more to the hardcore geeks, to learn the inner utter parts.
I think these would be easier to scan because they would lay relatively flat.
Yeah, Joe Burnett
Oh.
says, I've got a Fujitsu ScanSnap SV600 scanner that scans books. If anyone has books or mags that aren't in the public domain but want them scanned, let me know. So Joe Burnett is offering that.
Okay. I'll make a note of that. Here.
Retro Eng is here. Hello, Retro Eng.
And then a couple more books here and I'll be done. Some more integrated circuits. Now we have Volume 1. Now we also have Integrated Circuit Projects, Volume 2.
Ooh, when you run out of integrated circuit projects.
And then got a Volume 3.
Volume 3. You will be making integrated circuit projects for months to come there.
Months to come.
Brian Weiser.
And then we have TRS-80 Model 1, 2, and Color Computer Interface Projects.
Ooh.
It's a book. This one I have, actually. It's kind of an interesting book. It shows just different things you can do to how to interface into the, through like the serial port and the bit banger and stuff like that to do things.
Bit banger.
Yeah, bit banger.
He
And
said
then
bit banger.
tuba.
A tuba? You got a musical instrument?
No. Gosh, I'm not even sure what this one's even related to. I don't know.
The Substitution Handbook. Oh, Tube Substitution Handbook. Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess before transistors, huh? If you need to know how to replace one doohickey with another.
If you have like an old guitar amp, that'd be handy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Tube Substitution Handbook. Okay.
Okay, and then one I'm actually very happy to see because I've actually been watching for this one, 101 color computer programming tips and tricks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm happy to get this one. Very nice. Yeah, okay. Well, that was the bottom of the box, guys.
Wow.
So, yeah, very interesting. Yeah, I got plenty to sort through now. Keep me busy for a while.
Yeah, great collection there.
The bookcase back there.
Yeah, get another one. Yeah.
Yeah. Good haul there.
So,
man.
yeah, and basically, I mean, he's I think he was from the former military man. Was into the computers back in the day. I remember him telling me, and he's retired, moving into a smaller house, and just wanted to basically just kind of get rid of this stuff and find a home for it with somebody that will enjoy it. And I just agreed to pay the shipping to get it UPS'd here, and he was happy to accommodate. So I really appreciate that. And to Mark, and I'll look and see. I believe he's still out there on the Facebook group too. So maybe I'll throw him a little nod here. So.
If you can get those CCN scan, the Color Computer News scan, definitely do that because those are a lot rarer than Rainbows or even Color Computer Magazine. And like I said, a lot of hardcore information. If you want the early history of the hacker community, that's where to find it.
Oh, okay, very nice. Okay,
I believe if you want, anytime you get an OS9 book, if you just want to have that forwarded to Nick Marentes in Australia. At One Wallaby Way, I'm sure he'll be glad to get those. So.
He's he's starting to learn it properly. So
I'm using OS9 as we speak. Actually,
it's so intuitive. He never once cracked open the user manual.
Yeah, so he'll just use them to line his wall like wallpaper.
Send all OS9 books to Nick Marionette's One Wallaby Way in Australia, AU. All right.
Outback, Australia.
And don't
Outback,
send it
yeah. One Wallaby
just
Way,
bring
Outback, Australia. Right. So, and not the steakhouse. Cool. Well, we're gonna take a brief break here. We are going to, what do you got there, Paul T. Barton? Inner Strength OS9. Microware, Inner Strength.
I could never make this thing work. Does anybody know how to make it work?
What the hell is
what
it?
exactly is it? I haven't heard of Inner Strength.
Only.
Like, is that an OS9?
That?
What is that for? Is that like an OS9 for Intel or something?
For Windows. No.
It's OS9 for Windows?
Evaluation for x86.
So you'd have to boot it up on a PC.
Yeah.
I do know Microware, like, because they had limited resources, they only made drivers for certain pieces of hardware, like video cards and stuff, or stock BJ. So sometimes you had to make sure your hardware was compatible with the driver set they had. So I don't know if that's why you're having issues.
Put the serial number and everything in here, and the CD.
We might
maybe send a question to Al Battinger in the OS9 group, since he's actually is Microware these days. He probably would know a lot more about it than I would.
Okay. Thanks.
We're checking into. All right, so we're going to take a break here. Before we take a break, I'm going to show you guys an update to the CoCoTALK Live website. The website's been updated. I want to give you guys some updates on ways you can enjoy the show. I also wanted to take a quick moment. For those of you who believe in the power of prayer, we are going to send out a couple of prayer requests. So for those of you who know, and to know him is to love him, Tony Pedraza, current vice president, longtime standing president of the Glenside Color Computer Club. So Tony is in the hospital with a pneumonia right now. So send your thoughts and prayers to Tony and his wife Linda and the family there. We're hoping that they get him home healthy, happy, and safe soon. And also our very own legendary game designer Rick Adams, his lovely wife Alice is back in the hospital with an infection that they're trying to take care of. So prayers for those out there. Let's send out some of those prayers. The power of prayer for our Coco family. Let me switch screens here for just a second because I want to show you guys some updates to the CoCoTALK website. So for those of you who don't know how to find us on the web, it's real simple. The website is called CoCoTALK.live. And we have so many ways that the show can be experienced, both live and replays. I've added a new page that's called Live and Replay Links right here on the site. So when you click on that, you will see that you can, and you can just pull up any of these things here from the page. It'll link straight to it. So if you want to experience us live, you can experience us live on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, or Periscope. They're kind of all the same thing. On Mixer and Twitch, we're live, and you can also listen to us live as we are now audibly live streaming on Spreaker, and these are all live and interactive, so you can chat with us while you're listening and are watching. So many ways to experience us live. If you want to watch a video replay, well, you can watch video replays on any of the links up here, but also on our Podbean video podcast hosting site. You can watch the video replays there. We have video podcasts on iTunes. And then if you want to listen to us as an audio podcast, we are in many, many, many places. So we are on Spotify. We are on iHeartRadio. We're on Podbean. We're on CastBox. We're on Stitcher. We're on TuneIn Radio, which is also the feed to the Amazon Alexa. So you could say, Alexa, play CoCoTALK podcast on TuneIn, and you'll hear us there. We're on Google Play and the Google Podcast app. We're on iTunes and Apple Podcast apps, and we're also available live for replay on Spreaker. So lots of ways to experience CoCoTALK, both live and as a replay. So to play us out here as we go to commercial, this is one of the hottest news segments on the show. You guys are probably all fans of the new Coco Thoughts segment, right? Everybody a fan of Coco Thoughts? All right. So we are going to, first we're going to say thank you to our patrons who are the actual sponsors of our show. Then we're going to listen to Coco Thoughts, and then we're going to go to a commercial break where you can smoke them if you got them. So our patrons, the people who are sponsoring our show right now, let's give a big shout out and thank you to Al Hartman, Alan Huffman, Blair Ledoux, Brendan Donahue and the CocoVGA.com project, Brian Joyce and Extructus.com, D. Bruce Moore and his websites, cocoforever.gracenote.ca and FOD.gracenote.ca. We've got Davey Mitchell, Diego and his site, YACCS.info, Fedor Stamen, Disney Saints fan, Eric Canales and his color-computer.com site, Grant Leedy, Jason Downs, Kyle Etter, Ken Reichard and his canmakeit.com site, Paulie Walnuts, Fiscarelli, Phrenomythic, Ripen Peach, Richard Lorbieski, and BoysonTech.com, Rob Inman, Steve Bjork, Terry Steggy, The Backyard Shed Gang, Tom C., and Tom S. All patron sponsors of the show. Enjoy Coco Thoughts number 4.
And now, Coco Thoughts by Samuel Gimes. On holidays, Uncle JT would entertain us with stories of his business conquests and his assistant who would meet any deadline that he imposed, no matter how ridiculous. Well, until she shot him in the face, that is.
Hey, have you got your Coco 3 yet? Hi, this is Rick Adams, author of Temple of Ram and Shanghai, and you've tuned into CoCoTALK, the nation's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy color computer.
What's going on, everybody? Original Gamer Stevie Stroh here, and if you're a fan of vintage computing and retro gaming, then you're going to love our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. There you will find custom designs by Instagram artist Joel M. Adams. You can get I'm a Coconut, CoCoTALK, and other cool video game images on a t-shirt, coffee mug, or mouse pad. So if you love retro, then head on over to the retro swag shop at 8bit256.com today. Tell them the Original Gamer Stevie Stroh sent you.
The Radio Shack TRS-80 put the world of color computing into your home. Instant loading program packs turn any color TV into an exciting game arcade. And there's more. The color computer is an educational aid, a home management tool, an up-to-the-minute electronic information service. The programmable, expandable TRS-80 color computer from $399 only at Radio Shack, the biggest name in little computers.
Hi, I'm Bruce Moore, and this is Jacob Moore. Gotcha. And we are the Forest of Doom guys, and the Coco Forever guys, and we are Coco Fest, and we love Stevie Stroh.
Imagine a different world. A world where Tandy Corporation has the upper hand. where the Coco surpassed all competitors. And all you have to do is travel back in time without making a single mistake.
Coco forever.
How does it feel? I'm still believing.
You definitely earned this office.
Yes, you're too kind, and thank you.
You want to grab some food before we head back and look at that Alt Reality OS9 module?
It's only 40 years past due, but yeah, sure.
How does it feel? I'm still believing. Radio Shack, America's technology store.
Computer shopping has never been better at Radio Shack. Here's proof. Our new ultra-high-performance 386SX 20 megahertz computer with 85 megabyte hard drive, only $12.99. And it's from Tandy, manufacturer of the best-selling PC compatibles in America. Or get a 286-based Tandy home office computer with color monitor and hard drive, only $899.95. Shop your friendly nearby Radio Shack. Great selection, superior service. Nobody compares.
We now return you to CoCoTALK.
All right, we're back and we're live. And Ken Reichert after says, Coco Thoughts is awful. I'd rather hear Greg pee. Hey, whatever it takes. It's different strokes for different folks out there. Now, did you guys catch the reference there in that latest Coco Thoughts? So who are we talking about here? Who was...
Fletcher.
Oh.
You'll go far, Fletcher.
You'll go far, Fletcher.
Too far.
You'll go far. Now, I want to show you something. As I mentioned, we are live on Spreaker right now. So you can listen to us live. And in the live chat on Spreaker, we have got Nick Marotas out there. We've got Mikey in New York listening to us live, too. So you, starting from episode 113, where we became liver than ever, and we will continue to be the most livest and the illest and the deafest and the chillin' and the smost. You can listen to us as a live audio podcast on Spreaker, either on the web or through the app, and you can chat live with us while we sit here and have our Coco talk. So cool stuff. They're out there. All the cool kids are doing it. It's kind of like cigarettes. You just got to get in and do the thing that the cool kids are doing, right? So we are back. We've seen the haul. We've seen the mother load. And this is not the first time we've seen some interesting pickups. Like Paul Fiscarelli brought back an entire vehicle full of Cocos one time. So we've been very fortunate to see some really cool collections that people have acquired. And thanks for sharing that with us, Brian. You've always got interesting things, and it's always nice to see what you have.
Thank you.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, we do have a license to ill, right? So what's the time? You guys just left me hanging there. I'm gonna try this again.
Howdy doody time?
No, here is the cue. This came from you, Nick Marota. You said we have a license to ill, right?
Yes.
All right, so I'm gonna try this again. Now, what's the time? You suck.
Time?
You're supposed to say it's time to get ill. It's a whole Beasties Boy thing here. License to ill. All right, we're gonna try this. Take 3. Boop. All right, Nick Marota. Now, what's the time? Now, what's the time?
License to ill.
It's time to get ill. It's a whole Beastie Boy. You guys suck. All right. This is what I get for hanging out with old white guys. All right. So,
yeah, we have no clue what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I just know the album title. I don't know
the old white guys like the Beastie Boys themselves.
Yes.
The Beastie Boys suck.
What'd you say, Sonny? Man, you can't hear. Speak up.
They did fight for our right to party, though.
They did fight for our right to party. All right, so what else is going on? Are we done?
Justin Bieber part of that group?
Justin Bieber is not a part of that group, old timer. Oh. All right. So is it time to roll outro? Are we done with the show? No, we got more things to talk about, right? We've got news with Curtis Boyle, but how about this? How about a brief host discussion, possibly, because something quite unexpected happened last week. I'd venture to say that it was something wonderful, right? Because we ended up having a very spontaneous Coco Community Coding Live on a Saturday night And we got to listen to Curtis Boyle blather and ramble about how awesome Nitrous 9 is and Basic
The proper
09
term
and
is promote.
blah, 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 all this blah, blah, blah stuff.
He happened to show that it actually was.
Let me tell you why RS Basic sucks.
So we so it was a very spontaneous thing. It kind of was a last minute decision. At the end of the episode, we said, hey, maybe we'll do a coding thing tonight. We did the coding thing for 4 or 5 hours.
4 hours and 9 minutes and some odd seconds.
Yeah, and during that time, there was like 12 people that were there the whole time. God bless them. Bless their hearts.
It was terrible.
Yeah. And Grant was driving while he was listening. He said we were putting him to sleep. So yeah, don't operate heavy machinery while you listen to Coco Community Coding,
or at least be more intelligent than Grant. So that
Well, and also too, don't forget Rob Ingman is a nerd.
man, that sounds like fighting words there. So I would say that was an unexpected success, because the fact that we were there ourselves, even if we just entertained ourselves, that was cool. But we had about 12 people hanging out with us for 4 hours. And there were a number of people who ended up watching it later that commented saying that, hey, this was great. I enjoyed it. James Jones actually wrote up a whole thing. He actually paused and replayed it and manually transcribed some of the stuff that Curtis was doing and wrote a whole article on how to compare codes and all kinds of stuff, So it was surprisingly, I don't even know what the word is. It was
popular.
Okay, popular, sure. It was bigger than we would have expected, and so we must question ourselves: should we do this again? Should we make this a semi-regular thing? This live coding on the air and people just talking about programming languages and helping each other work out bits and routines. Those on the panel, who are in favor of doing this again?
I'm in favor of doing it again. I mean, the surprising thing for me, as you mentioned, was the popularity of it. Because I mean, the last time I looked at the counts for the regular show last week and then the programming show, I mean, they're both at 140 or 160 plus. Like they're
I'm going to pull up that right now,
which I would not have expected in a million years.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up those view counts right now. So right now, the Coco Community Coding Live has 150 views, which is surprising considering the subject matter, considering that it's 4 hours of old white guys who don't get Beastie Boy references talking about Basic 09 and RSB and TTL and ESP and DriveWire and things like that. So Pete Willard says, my feedback, it was a neat idea. James Differendaffer says, do it again. Explorer VR says, yes, more live coding, please. Erico says, yes. And Joe Burnett says, do it again, do it again. So apparently
James Jones says verbose. Does that mean he wants us to be more verbose so the show will be
more verbose? Yes. So maybe what we should start doing is taking code snippets and copying and pasting them into the live chat so people can actually not have to manually type in stuff from the video screen, where they can actually just get the text from us or somehow. So possibly tonight, maybe Saturday night will become coding night. It was unplanned. It was and had an unexpected, surprisingly positive reception, which I'm very happy for. So Terry Steen says, I bailed while there was still hope in not getting into it. However, I thought it was awesome. Do it based on topics, based on Basic 09 graphics, on math, arrays, data structures, etc. Nimble says it was very good to watch last week. Okay. So pretty much everybody says, yeah. So this was kind of an unexpected success. So,
well, what was unusual was it was all about the color computer.
I don't know how to respond to that. Okay.
We didn't talk about MS-DOS. We didn't talk about
true.
Windows.
Oh, you mean like we stayed completely on topic?
It was just the color computer.
Just the color computer. Yes. Okay. Okay.
Oh, he means it wasn't a retro talk.
It wasn't a retro talk or anything else. It was all coding about the Coco.
Right.
Well, yeah, because Stevie was focused on code.
Yeah.
He wasn't being random.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
you managed to solve one of your problems too, Stevie, on the air, didn't you?
Didn't this liven you up to want to program more?
Yeah, I added a little extra layer to my cosmic aliens, and actually I think there's somebody who's now more motivated to work on my game than I am right now, because David Lord has sent me like 15 different emails on updates that he's made where he did the same thing. He kind of transcribed it himself and he rewrote it. And he was, here, try this. This might help with this. And here, try this with that. And then he sent me like 4 or 5. And I haven't even had a chance to look at any of them because it's happened during the week. And I've been so busy this week. But he sent me all this stuff. And then he even says, I've even rewritten it now to work better in this Coco compiler. And so now I can run it in a compiler and compile it. And I'm thinking, oh, man, this guy is like way ahead of me. So I need to start looking at the code that he has taken of my code. And then, yeah, I'm interested in looking at this compiler thing, too. Yeah, Erico, it was great. It was the first time we got to hear from Erico. He was on with us, too. He says, I think I prefer a chaotic theme scheme instead of per topic. Yeah, well, that's the show. So, yeah, expect chaos. So
I know last week the idea was if you're working on something currently, which a lot of us are,
mm-hmm.
hang out with each other and code and talk and do whatever. So it wasn't really planned. It was just like, so I'm working on a game and you're working on a game, Steve, and other people are working on different things.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if we want to continue doing that or making it more, let's learn about a rig.
Well, I think the thing is just like CoCoTALK. CoCoTALK, this show has started off very unplanned and unstructured, and it kind of arrived at a general format. And then we've got to the point where some shows we have a topic or we have a guest or we have a plan, and some shows like this week we don't. So I think if it's anything like the path CoCoTALK has taken, it'll have its hills and valleys, and there'll be some. We might have somebody on one week like Sockmaster, and Sockmaster can show us how to do a specific thing he's done for one of his games,
Because we had a couple interesting discussions or not discussions even, but like Curtis talked about Basic 09. Nick talked about his, which I thought was interesting, the graphics library he uses for doing the semi-graphics in Waterfall. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think it'll probably end up becoming a hybrid of planned and unplanned and random in structure. So for being the first episode, it was a surprising success, if you could use that word. So we'll just keep doing it and see where it goes. See if it runs out of steam or if it can hold itself up. So cool.
We definitely want to keep it interactive. Like I would like people to come in and if they're watching, have a question, throw it in the chat room or join the show.
And join us on the show too, because there were a lot of people who were asking a lot of questions, and I had invited them all on to, hey, join us in the live panel so we could hear you in real time, because sometimes it's hard to reread the comment when we've already moved three sentences ahead of that.
Yeah, I can understand it being Saturday night. You might have family and stuff around that don't want to hear you blather on about coding while they're trying to watch a show or something. But
Terry Steen says a specific programming goal is a topic. That would be great. A specific programming goal. Okay. Pete Willard says there's not enough open source Coco on GitHub. So if we could somehow get some more GitHub stuff out there of Coco source code, that might be a good thing. Who knows? All right. So yeah, I think that was cool. I think that's definitely worth mentioning. And I want to thank everybody who was there for those, especially for the feedback, for those guys on Facebook who gave us some props and some kudos for doing it. Thanks for doing that. And we're glad that you guys enjoyed it.
And if any of you have any specific topics or questions you want us to cover on the programming thing, just send us an email and we can kind of plan to have at least a segment on the show on whatever topic.
Yeah, we can do that. If we get some themes, we get some suggestions, we get enough suggestions, we can form a show around those things too.
Yeah, or even make it a segment, with a question from the audience type thing, and we just bring up one email that
because it was live and unplanned, I think the only thing looking back that I maybe would have helped or not helped, but like Curtis, a lot of times you were talking and your screen share was still on, but the things you were talking about had nothing to do with what was on the screen. So maybe stop sharing at some point in time just so we get a chance to see more of the faces while you're talking. And give other people a chance to share something if they want to point their camera at something they got on their screen. But
there was a few times I was trying to get off because I thought it was done, and somebody would bring up another question. So.
Yeah, but you could still keep talking on the topic. But stop screen sharing. Again, it was unplanned, but it was still cool. And that is also available on as a podcast, right? So you can replay that on iTunes if you wanted to as well, and download it offline so you don't have to worry about wasting your bandwidth and everything else too. So we're going to continue we got podcasts all over the place now. So we'll have the video podcasts will always be available on iTunes, where you can watch them and download them, watch them offline. And the audio podcasts are going to be available as many places a week as we can. It's like a virus. We just want to spread out and infest the podcast sphere, and get in as many channels as possible. Good stuff. So yeah, I think so. All right. We ready to move on to news, Curtis Boyle?
Oh, sure.
All right. Let me update the little thingy here. So we're gonna do that. Let me update the infographic. Let's get a little bit of music here. So now, just so you know, Curtis. So just I'm gonna stop sharing the audio, so you won't hear the musical number. That's gonna be our little intro. But when I say "Take it away, Curtis," that's when you start. All right? Can you handle that? All right.
Probably not, but we'll try.
Okay. All right. So here's
the surest pro, isn't
it? Here's some cool music. All right, everybody. It's time for Color Computer News with L. Curtis Boyle. Take it away, Curtis.
Okay.
Yes, we did it. Yes, we transitioned.
Okay, so I'm not sure if I'll have too much audio in this particular set of news here, but starting off, we have Ron Klein, who actually released a couple of videos over the week relating to various things. So the first one here was a second tutorial on running the CocoPi 3. He did one that we talked about last week as well. And this time is working with disk images. So I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's like 12 minutes, but quite informative. So if you have a CocoPi 3, and I also notice I didn't put this in the news officially, but on this buy-sell trade section, he's actually selling off a Matchbox Coco and a Coco FPGA as well. So I don't know if he's done some videos on that kind of stuff, but for some of the people that were looking for these, quote unquote Coco 4 hardware emulator type things, there's a few for sale because he basically admitted he doesn't have time to go through it all. So.
Okay. I think the benefit there too is a lot of those hardware emulation platforms were kind of do-it-yourself, where you had to put all the pieces together.
Yeah, and both of his are upgraded.
His are upgraded and assembled, and all the accessories and the cases and everything else too. So they're like plug and play.
Yeah, really good deals. Okay, so anyway, that one we'll put the links up in the chat and stuff here. I did put it up in the thing. I don't know if Mark's here yet. So he's usually the one that puts it in, but at the very least, it'll be in the show notes on YouTube, etc.
Okay.
So. Let's lose that one. And then another one that Ron put up was a video about using the Atom editor for cross-platform software development with syntax highlighting, etc.
Mm-hmm. And so Atom, ATOM, like the molecule or whatever, is kind of like a Notepad++, but also cross-platform. But it does have the things like syntax highlighting, like what you would expect with the assembler. He's got disk extended color basic, syntax highlighting, and then the beauty of all this is he's put drop-down menus that launch scripts, similar to what Paul Fiscarelli did with his Long Branch Never, where we write our code in Notepad++, we then run a batch file that then makes the disk image and launches the emulator. His does all of that from a drop-down menu, so it's still the same concept. You take an editor like this, and you launch something that generates a disk image and then launches an emulator with that. But his is all just point and click from a drop-down menu, and it makes it real easy to work on code, fire it up in an emulator, and see what it's like.
Yeah. And this sample I've got on the screen right now, he's showing some of the syntax highlighting he has for assembly, so you can see that the actual instructions are in orange and the label comments and stuff are.
Yeah. Pete Willard says this is also very similar to Visual Studio Code Editor.
Yeah, or Notepad++, if you put in a template for that, you can do that as well. Now, the nice thing about Ron's here, he not only demonstrates it in this video, but he actually put up the files on GitHub for Atom so that you can download them instead of you having to put all the colors and stuff. So you can just go grab them, install them onto your Atom, and then voila, you're ready to go.
Okay.
So that's cool. Well, and once again, we'll put the link in. Hey, this one here, Mark Overholzer and Bill Noble both have received some Omni Boards, and I was hoping one of the two of them would be here to better explain this because I'm not exactly sure about the details. It's for developing hardware projects for the Coco, and it's based on a design by Jason Lee Steer. This is a picture that Mark did, so he's got ones of different colors. And these are basically project boards for doing your own hardware projects that plug into the cartridge port. I think David Ladd's away from the mic too right now because he probably has a pretty good idea.
Yeah, from what I remember from reading it, they're designed to use something called a Teensy or possibly an Arduino. So it's meant to interface with possibly a microcontroller on there for other type projects. But I guess theoretically, because it's got all the through holes in here, you could make any type of prototype board you want. So you could put EEPROMs and sound chips and real-time clocks. Yeah. So that's a little bit over my head when it starts getting into electronics, but I think I know enough to be dangerous by saying you could put some type of microcontroller on here to get more functionality out of it as well. So
yeah, it's kind of to let your inner Jim Brain out or your inner Ed Snyder. I think
yeah, could be. Cool stuff.
I do like the different colors. Actually, that looks pretty fancy. I like the black one.
Yeah, and so Jason Lee Steer, is that his name? Jason Lee Steer? Steer. Yeah. Jason Lee Steer. Yeah, he's in Australia, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. So he sent me a prototype for the USB to Coco joystick adapter. So he put some type of Arduino in a little project box, and it's got the two DIN connectors and a USB output. So I can run real Coco joysticks off of USB because I guess he heard me complaining in all my videos saying, man, it sucks playing these games in an emulator with an Xbox controller because I can't get my stick up into the corner and I can't get the 360 movement. So he actually made a prototype for that and sent it to me, and it didn't even charge me for it. He just said, hey, what's your address? And he sent me the box, and I use that a lot, and it's really good. So he's been doing hardware projects for quite some time, apparently.
Yeah. It's pretty cool, and the fact that like in the old days you used to be able to buy these breadboards too, but they didn't look anywhere near as nice as this, and they didn't have, I don't think the smaller holes and stuff for supporting some of the more modern chips that
right. And is it safe to say that because this is all through hole, it would make putting things in sockets real easy? You just kind of put them through and then just put a drop of solder on the back of them. So instead of doing a surface mount as a through hole, a really good way for a novice to put things on a board.
I would imagine so. So I was hoping like either Bill or Mark or David would be able to answer that, but unfortunately they're all available. Unless somebody else here does hardware projects and wants to chime in.
Mark Bosley might be able to chime in on that. Marky, you there?
Yeah, I'm back. What's up? I'm getting in the middle of this. Had to run downstairs.
Yeah, we were just kind of asking about. So these are these new prototype boards, which from what I understand, they're designed to use some type of like Teensy or Arduino microcontroller. Was the main purpose of this.
I think Paul Button's got some there. He knows a bit about them.
But I was also just asking a general question because this can be used as a generic prototype board. Is it safe to say if you're kind of a novice that having these through holes in the circuit board is an easier way to mount things than trying to figure out how to solder a surface mount?
Yeah, through hole would be easier to solder than surface mount.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So, and Paul Barton just chimed in too. So, Paul, can you enlighten us as to some possible uses for this board and what it means to use a Teensy or something else on there?
Well, I don't know anything about Teensy, but I noticed that in each one of these small rows, they're all tied together. So if the address bus comes in, they're all tied together, this one row.
Okay.
So if you wanted to use it for like a vector board, you'd have to go and cut all these little ties off. Front and back.
Okay.
And it is silk screened on both sides. Everything is wonderfully marked. It's a really nice board.
Okay.
How much are they, just out of curiosity, for somebody that is interested in getting into doing their hardware projects? Like, how much would this set them back?
I got these from Boyson, and it was $15 for 3 boards, including shipping.
Wow, that's cheap.
Okay, not bad.
One of each color.
So Richard resells these? Is that my understanding?
Yeah, I think a few people got a stack of them. Yeah, I think Jason sent some to Mark and to Richard, or either that or gave them permission to have them produced. So either they got drop shipped.
Oh, it's from MDO. Sorry, it was MDO Consulting in Albany, Oregon.
Okay, that's Mark Data, Mark D. Overholzer.
I don't remember who.
Yeah, so Mark must have taken the design
Okay,
and sent them out to have them produced. Okay, so that might be what happened. Is that maybe it's an
Yeah, I
open
think
source
that's what he
design?
did.
Okay.
Okay.
And there is no schematic.
Okay. Well, it's interesting though. So it's a project board if you want to work on a Coco cartridge, right? So.
Yep.
So,
This is what makes having a buffered CPU worthwhile.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just think, we could put the new sound chip on here.
Yeah.
Cool stuff. Cool stuff.
Would those fit in a game cartridge, or would it be a larger one?
You mean would it fit in one of those little
holes
injection molded
Yeah.
cartridge?
Yeah.
Paul, do you know?
No, it's too wide. It's too wide, and there's no holes for it.
So
Doesn't have the hole in the center.
So you'd have to. Yeah, there's no hole in the center, and there's no two screw batting holes either.
So
it does have 6 holes around the edge, but it's probably for a different box.
I was going to say, so it's not standard.
So they won't plug and play in an existing cartridge.
They might be designed. Would they fit in like an
doesn't look like it.
cartridge or something like that, Paul?
Yeah, hang on. Here's one of my hard drive controller boxes, and here's this board. So it possibly could fit in there, but you wouldn't have any way to mount it. You'd have to do your own mounting.
Okay. So it's almost as fully wide as is that a normal game cartridge you got there?
Yeah, that's a game cartridge.
Okay, so it won't fit in a standard game cartridge. That's longer. It's like
too
deeper.
long.
It's deeper. So it'd have to go in like at least one of the mini floppy controllers or something. It needs to be a slightly deeper cartridge for that.
Yeah, something else. Or make your own.
I imagine that's a good point. You would prototype on this and then redesign it for the actual custom if you wanted to fit it into a cartridge case. This is just more meant to probably plug in just so you can try it hard.
Right. So this is not meant for mass producing a commercial product. This is for for scratching the itch.
Better ventilation for the smoke to get out.
Cool stuff. And whenever Mark mentioned he might be joining us later, Mark D. Overholzer, so maybe we can hear from his mouth.
Yeah,
too,
because it sounds like he actually ordered them and is selling them. He would probably know the most about it. So maybe he has some cases or designs for cases for 3D printers already made for it too. So
okay, cool.
Look at all those lights inside of his computer.
Oh, and Paul Martin's, yeah.
Little light show.
Cool stuff. All right, Curtis, you want to take it back? Take it back to the news.
She'll do. For some reason, actually, I'm not even getting the option to share sound today. The checkbox is not even in existence. I don't know what's going on there.
Hey, Sean Ernst has just joined us. Hey, Sean, how are you? Are you able to share screens at least? Maybe once you start sharing the screen, then you'll have the option to share audio.
No, I've been trying to find it. Like I've actually reconnected the share a few times here, but it's I don't know if there's an update or something happened. I'm not sure what's going on.
It's because you're running a Mac. All right, so.
Under the advanced button?
No, even there, it had the option to share system sound only with no video. So I think there's been an update on Zoom or something that's on the Mac's not working too well. Anyway, are you guys getting this?
Yeah,
screen?
we see it. Carlos Camacho. Yeah.
Okay. So Carlos asked on the Coco group on Facebook for a complete list of magazines and newsletters that supported the Coco. And as you can see here, it's a very long list. There's a lot more on here than I thought there would be. And there's quite a few I'd either forgotten about or have never heard of. And then other people have been chiming in. I mean, some of them were the big name magazines. Some of them covered multiple platforms, including the Coco as, kind of an aside.
Wow. What a list, huh?
Coco devoted ones. But yeah, there's a ton.
Why is Color Computer Weekly on twice?
Maybe it came out twice in 1 week.
I don't know. I didn't make the list.
Okay.
So
it could have been that's good eye there, Ron. Good editorial. So.
And there's the Color Computer News that Brian was showing off.
I like somewhere in there I saw that CoCoTALK is in there too. CoCoTALK's not even a magazine, so yeah, that's kind of funny.
Actually, I think there was one newsletter or something that was called CoCoTALK.
Oh yeah. Although he also had the Coco Crew podcast. Okay, so he's.
He's including that.
He's including those as I guess Audible magazines. Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
All right, fair enough.
Okay.
We've joined a very long list.
Next up, Ed Orbia. Is that how you pronounce his name? Or Orbi? I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
Okay.
He was asking some questions about running Phusix, the Coco 3 port by Brett Gordon, who's on Discord and has his own group that he answers lots of questions in, is actively developing Phusix on a real Coco 3. And he's received answers from William Carlin and Ron Klein about some of his questions because he was having problems getting stuff to mount properly. So anybody who's interested in using Phusix, which is, like I said, in a constant state of development here, if you go through the comments section and all the responses, there's a lot of good beginner info on how to get it set up properly. So if anybody's interested in running that, then that's a good place to start that just happened to show up this week.
And if I could just take this opportunity to plug the Coco Discord server, because there is a Phusix channel on there. And so Brett Gordon is the man who is handling this. He's, so he's the guy who's making Phusix. So, and to be able to have direct access to that guy, it's kind of like having access to Curtis Boyle with Nitrous 9 ease of use, right? So you can shoot a message out. There's a Nitrous 9 EOU channel where you can ask questions to, and there's a Phusix channel out there too. So if it's something you want to mess around with, you could do that.
Yeah, and if you have any questions or bug reports or suggestions for the operating system itself, then feel free to post to there. That's where Brett and I would probably get our information most of the time to be able to respond to.
How does Phusix compare with OS 9? What is there any similarity or?
Well, it's based on Unix. It's more closely to Unix than OS 9 is. OS 9 is kind of based loosely on Unix, I guess, and Phusix is based on Unix, period.
Does it do multitasking?
Yes. Yeah. It does multitasking. It has driver abstraction support for doing extra hardware, supports 2 mega RAM. I think the only thing really missing right now on Phusix is I don't think there's a graphics layer done yet. You can do all kinds of fancy stuff with text, like I've seen him play like text Space Invaders, which actually uses ASCII characters to draw your little invaders going across the screen and stuff. But I don't think there's a graphics library yet. So that's one place that Nitrous 9 is still a bit ahead. But if you're really familiar with Linux or with Unix, this is closer than OS 9 is. And with 2 meg support, actually, you can do some pretty decent things on it. There's a version for the Coco 1 and 2 too, but I think it's quite limited. Next up, Brendan Emsley, not sure I pronounce it either. Printed his own case for his Coco STC using his new resin printer and put some pictures up, and it turned out quite well. You can actually see it says Coco STC upside down on the photo here, but quite a nice looking case, different color than we've normally seen from some of the other people who have made it.
Kind of almost Battleship Gray. Might actually look good alongside of a silver Coco.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, actually.
Yeah.
Is this on the machine after it was made, or is it on top of it, or what?
I don't have a clue.
You know what this always reminds me of? Whenever I see these 3D printers, it reminds me of when I was a kid. You would go to the zoo, you would put in a quarter, and these 2 pieces of metal would come together, and they'd make like a wax sculpture of a gorilla or a giraffe or something. They would come apart, and it would slide down, and you'd pick it up. Whenever I see a 3D printed thing, it reminds me of that wax compression machine.
I'm not sure how these exactly work. These, the way I've seen them kind of work, but I don't know the technology behind it. That case is actually it's drawn up through the liquid that's in that bottom chamber, and it's actually lifted slowly. Like a 3D printer starts on the base.
Oh, and it works its way up.
Yeah, but it builds a layer up. This here, it's actually drawn up through that liquid, and somehow the layers are brought together as it's drawing it up out of there. So I don't know any more about it.
Technology than a 3D printer, the resin printer.
Yes.
I didn't realize it was that different.
Yeah, I just don't know exactly how it's done, but
it uses some will use laser, some will use just an LCD screen, and that's what the light the type of light it uses causes the resin to harden.
Interesting.
And so that's what builds each layer.
So there's a different picture there. If you look a little bit further down in the comments there, Curtis, you see there's a slightly different picture. Click on that one. So that's the whole chamber, huh?
I bet you it uses ultraviolet light because of that orange filtered glass.
Yeah,
like
could
that.
be.
Yeah. A buddy of mine uses an LCD screen to actually harden the resin on one layer, and then it raises it up, and then hardens the next layer and raises it up.
Now, how is it speed-wise compared to a 3D printer then that you basically melts plastic and builds it up?
I haven't seen them in operation.
Oh, okay.
I haven't either. I've just heard about them.
There's people on YouTube that actually have reviewed them and test them out and stuff.
Okay. It's just cool. I didn't realize it was that different of a technology. I saw that he mentioned it was resin, but I didn't realize it was done totally differently. I just thought it was kind of.
So
you know,
can you
different,
retrowrite your parts and pieces in there?
Yeah, I always thought resin was that stuff you scraped out of your pipe when you smoked a lot. So apparently this is a whole new type of resin stuff.
420, man.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. So two things come to mind when also on that same topic. Sorry, Curtis, before you move on.
Okay.
So somebody had posted a picture where they actually painted in their Coco SDC. So where the letters were kind of engraved, they painted in those letters. Have you got one of those images? Or not? Because somebody painted in the Coco SDC. The letters were black.
I already closed the window, unfortunately.
Okay. It was a different post though. So one thing I was thinking of is how you could paint them in that way. Another thing is because as I was just thinking about how that was kind of gray and it kind of matched the Coco, we could get the spray paint. We could get that Mercedes silver, which is now that we know that's the actual color that the Coco is painted. So if anybody wanted to have their Coco SDC match their silver Coco, they might just want to find some Mercedes silver and spray paint that cartridge,
Oh, cool.
It might be interesting to see a silver matching Coco 1 cartridge plugged into the side,
Yeah, actually, since I do plan on eventually getting a second SDC for my Coco 1, because I'm going to be doing some development on the VGA and Coco Mem Junior.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to have something that actually color matches my original gray Coco there. So yeah, that's a good idea.
Do you have an upgraded keyboard on yours, Curtis?
Right now I have my Coco 3 keyboard in it because I got one or two keys on my chiclet keyboard that actually are not working, and I haven't had a chance to repair it. So I just took one of my spare Coco 3s, took the keyboard out, just threw it in just so I have something to work with.
Cool. All right, so what are we looking at now here? Richard Sorek.
Yeah, Richard Sorek has uploaded a PDF reference for the 6809, the 6821, which is the PIAs, 6840, and the 6850, which is, I believe, a serial chip. But it's in French. So anybody in Quebec or France or anybody that speaks French, most of our stuff has been pretty English centric, let's be honest, with Australians and English and Canadian and American. But for anybody that, French is their native tongue, now you've got a technical reference, and a fairly extensive one from what I looked at it, in French. So you don't have to sit there and run through Google Translate and try to figure out what exactly.
I believe it says Lay 6809.
Could be.
Lay 6809. That's how we say that in French.
Anyway, he put it up for download in Facebook. So if you're French and you want to learn about some of the hardware chips that are inside the Coco and how they work, go grab the doc and you'll have it in your native tongue.
Very cool. Merci beaucoup.
And this here, some guy named Paul Bart,
some crazy old guy, huh?
Case thing. This is a picture from earlier in the stage, and at this point, I think he actually had a problem with the 8 meg board not working properly, which he's since fixed.
Click on the picture, make it a little bigger too, so we can see it.
That's correct.
Okay. So here we see the inside of the case with the Coco motherboard and all of the accoutrements. So yeah, I see where the DIN connector cables are plugged into the back, and I guess where they just have extensions extending out beyond the case. Yeah, so kind of like a male to female on that. Okay.
Yeah. So he's got the joysticks and the serial port, and it looks like even the cassette ports hooked up.
Yeah. Now, are they hard mounted on the back of the case too, or are they just kind of loose there? So is it like in
he said he's got a block of wood behind it.
Oh, there's another picture?
There's another picture.
Oh, can you switch images? Is there no? Okay, there you go. Click on the arrow there. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you got? Dial up, Curtis? What's going on here? It's taking so long.
I don't know.
It takes a long time for the internet to get to Canada, is what it is. So.
I got 100 megabit both ways.
Yeah, it's the wires there are kind of frozen over. So,
mind you, some other people were mentioning earlier they were having problems. So maybe there's a general internet thing going on.
Okay, all right. So we'll have to come back to go to a new tab. And we'll see if we can come back to that.
We're getting metrics, so that takes time.
Now, in this case, you still had your triad board. I can see that here in the center.
Right.
And then you've got, is that a homemade multi-pack type device? Because I can see you've got a bunch of female connectors there for plugging in cards.
It's a buffer board with selections and everything, and eventually that has a little prototype area that I can add in pseudo MPI stuff.
Okay, and that's what those female connectors are for plugging in cards, I'm presuming?
Yes, that's the Y cable part.
Is that a triple Y cable then, or is it just?
Oh, it's probably got 4 or 5 on there. 3 edge connectors and 2.
You can't be a triple Y. Once you
Insulation.
go to 3, you're like a W.
W, and if you go to 4 or 5, I don't know what you call that.
Yeah, right.
Plastic? I don't know.
It's like double W.
It's a double W. It's a quad. It's a quaddle U.
It's a World Wide Web of connectors. It's got 3 W's there.
Now, if I'd actually made that 8 slot thing, it would have stuck clear out the back of the case.
Wow.
Under the monitor.
Now, do you plan on mounting those eventually so that they're actually like where the PC
Like a
cards
bus connector, yeah.
actually
Right.
plug in?
Right. They will be flush up against the back where normal PC cards would stick out.
Oh, so we
to.
can just plug cartridges into the back of the PC case.
No, on the inside.
On the inside.
I don't have
okay.
the cover for this case.
Okay.
The cover for the case is gone.
Okay.
It got
Okay.
lost when we moved over here. So
It's an
I
interesting.
mean, as I mentioned before when we first talked to you about it, there I remember a lot of people in the 90s did these repacks. There was tons of them. Like at the Coco Fest, half the machines were done this way. Nobody had real Coco 3s just on their own in their own cases, and it's totally switched the last 10 years.
Because they're not considered throwawayable things anymore. People are looking at the Coco as being a little bit more sacred, especially a Coco 3. They're not as many to come by.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It's become much more a collector's market, so you want the original hardware as it was, as opposed to the hobbyist market where you just want to, get it into something quote unquote professional. Once you put the cover on, it looks like an actual PC, and you can fool people into thinking it actually is.
Yeah.
Right.
Now,
you need some smoked plexiglass for that.
Smoked plexiglass.
Yeah.
It puts too much
version of it to see through it. Yeah.
Wood panels.
Wood panels. Yeah. He
Like
puts
an old
any-
station.
he puts-
Hey guys, as a side note, the old CoCoZilla, the wire wrap version, was in a server case, which was like twice as big as that thing.
Wow.
And 4 times as heavy.
And that you lost over the years?
About,
What happened to your CoCoZilla?
I turned it in for gold reclaim when we moved to Arizona because I didn't think I'd need it.
How much
That's
gold
too
was
bad.
in it?
All those pins were all gold plated.
Wow.
It made his trip to here.
Yeah,
Really?
just about.
Wow.
No.
Would you be able to get that ribbon cable up far enough, and then you'd be able to put the ROM cartridges in where like the CD-ROM or floppy drives would traditionally be in that case? So you'd be putting the cartridges in through the front?
Yeah, I could do anything. So, the ribbon cable, I could turn the ribbon cables around so we could plug in the cartridges from the back.
Yeah. Lots of
Or any
different
other
ways to go
way,
there. Huh?
Or the side or whatever.
Yeah. That's neat.
Definitely a cool project. It was nice to see it, it happening again. Because, like I said, there used to be a ton of these. Frank Swigert had one in a wood case. He actually made a portable Coco
Right.
with a monitor and stuff built in.
You got a speaker in there too?
Hey, Curtis, why don't you see if your UART...
Yeah, but it's not hooked up.
See if your UART chip is finished buffering, and if your 300 baud can let us see the next image on here.
That
Yeah.
seems to be a Facebook issue over here.
Curtis is locked in at
Yeah.
300 baud today, so...
Yeah. Truly retro.
Can you scroll down?
Oh, sorry.
You just closed the tab.
No.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, Stevie can bring it up after I finish the news. There's not too much left. So next up is Retro Man Cave on YouTube. Has a video about the Micro Museum, which is a museum that a guy has put together 40 years worth of stuff sold in England, basically.
I see a silver Coco, and then underneath that I see a Coco 2 next to an MC10.
Yeah, I didn't see a Coco 3 when going through this, but yeah, the Coco makes an appearance here. They talk about the dragon somewhat, but they don't go too much details in the Coco. I'll just play a few seconds, unfortunately, without sound. But you can just kind of see it panning by.
Yeah, there's a Coco, silver Coco, white Coco, MC10. There's the dragon.
Dragon, yeah.
There's a TDP 100. Towards the end of that, right before it faded, there was a TDP 100 in the top right-hand corner.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting because there's some machines in there I've never even heard of, like some of the ones that weren't that common in the marketplace, but were sold in Britain, since the start of the microcomputer revolution, basically. So a lot of interesting history, and they do a lot of discussion on it and go through some specific machines that are a little bit more oddball, but not as common. So if I ever get to England, that would be a pretty cool museum to go through, I think.
Is this the one Fedor's in?
No, there's another one that Fedor was in. That was some TV channel that did a retro thing in Denmark, and he was in it. I don't know if you have that one queued up, Curtis, or not.
No, I didn't, because he was talking about Commodore, so I didn't care. So.
No, I think there's some Coco mentioning it.
Nothing wrong with
No, you're right. There was nothing Coco in it.
Yeah. And we have to have our traditional, Jim Gary segment of what has he done this week, which should almost get its own little captive graphic and stuff. But
Right.
2 updates from him. This is CoCoTALK, which is a port from a Sharp M Z80A, which
It looks like here it says Coupe de Etate. What do you mean CoCoTALK?
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Coupe de Etate.
Yeah, it's got
So anyway,
ELO
it's
music in it.
Yeah, it's got kind of an interesting map type thing here too, which is looks pretty cool.
It actually does.
Semi graphics and he's got little semi graphics mixed in with it, even the text of it there, so it's a bit more graphic-y than some of the other text stuff he's doing.
You've been given some cash. You meet an arms dealer with a catalog.
You're buying weapons. Not that we're trying to promote that, but yeah, it looks like a pretty interesting game. It's one I've never played before, so I might give that a shot later on.
Okay.
I wonder how many games Jim Gary's done that reach almost to 20K.
I think the majority of them are. I don't think a lot of the ones he's been doing actually will fit in the old 4K machine. He's got some, obviously, but
What I meant was, I wonder if he's always bumped against the 20K. You know what I mean? And had to back up a little.
Some I think he has. I mean, I know the 4K, like trying to cram into the original 4K MC10. I mean, a lot of the port stuff he's doing is ports off of other 8-bits from the time, and most of those had more than 4K. So most of those would have to take at least a 20K pack, and maybe even the MCX 128?
The MCX 128.
Yeah. And then his second one here is he did an update to his checkers game where he modified the sound a little bit, but I think the gameplay is basically the same.
Okay. Computer checkers. Now you're playing against the computer, so the computer.
Yeah,
we got some king pieces there.
Yeah. That's a nice little graphic representation to do the stacked ones and stuff.
Yeah.
So you can visually tell instantly whether you've
Yeah.
got a regular piece or a king piece. Anyway, that's the 2 he had there. He had a couple other videos, but they were related to the same games, like just showing like the winning sequence and stuff. So I just show
Those
you
are
the
my
play.
favorite words to say playing checkers was "king me."
This one, I almost think you should load up the link since I can't seem to do the sound here. It's only 3 minutes, but it's Todd Wallace sharing a video showing his Coco 3 powered up from stored solar energy. So he's got solar collectors that actually charge a battery, and then he's running his complete Coco system off this battery thing.
That's cool.
So
He also has a 3.5-inch drive there.
Yeah, and his SDC and a mini multi-pack and stuff too. But because for some reason I'm not getting the ability to share sound here, I don't know. Did you want to cue that up for afterwards, or should we just mention?
Can you put the link in the Zoom chat and I'll pull it up?
Sure.
I also have a commercial from Bruce Moore that he sent us. I want to make sure this is the right one. Is it called System Hacked, Bruce? Is that the one? Are you still out there? I didn't realize he sent us a commercial, so I'll probably want to play that. So if you send me the link, okay, let me get the link up here. I'll need you to stop sharing for just a minute, and then I'm gonna go ahead and
I put the link in Zoom too for the other videos.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead go ahead, Ron.
With all these people that have machines to make things, has anybody tried to make doors for CM8s?
That actually should be possible.
That should be possible. I think Eric Canals was saying he was going to try to look into doing that.
That would be great because he's got one missing too. The guy that was on here last.
Yeah.
And mine's missing.
All right. Let me see if hopefully this is the right video. I have not seen this video yet, so we're going to see it all for the first time when it comes up.
Coming soon.
All situations depicted in this trailer actually happened. This true story has been anonymized to protect the guilty. Starting in the dead of winter, a group of bored
I'm not hearing any audio.
blew stuff up, learned code cracking, learned phone freaking, hijacked and hacked. No system was safe. No one could catch them, or so they thought. A true story at the dawn of the internet. System hacked.
Okay, I heard you guys saying you didn't hear the audio. That's because I didn't turn on my sharing of system audio. Okay, that's a commercial that Bruce ran, but rather than running it twice, you'll just have to watch it on the replay. Let me go ahead and share my system audio now. So as I run the video clip that Curtis has given me. So where is it? Is it the one that's Facebook? Okay, YouTube, L. Curtis Boyle, YouTube. Okay, so here it is. I'm going to go ahead and maximize this so you guys can hear it.
So just for fun, I'm going to try and run my Coco 3 setup off of my small off-grid solar system I made, which is over there in the corner. Nothing's plugged in, so no power, no LED light. So right now the battery is at 12.16 volts. It's nighttime, so it's stored solar energy technically. So turn the inverter on. There we go. 0 watts. Plug it in. 16 watts. Power. See what happens.
Okay, CM8 fires up.
We have life. Alright, see what happens.
Nitrous 9 boot. Why would anybody have their Coco boot straight to Nitrous 9?
Because they don't use the ECB.
They're smart.
But look, no real-time clock.
Floppy and see how that works under. It's a pure sine wave inverter, so it should be fine, but it might be the first person to ever run a Coco 3 off of solar power. Yep, good. Should be an OS9 disk in there. Yep, that's good. There's an RS-DOS disk in the 5 1/4 drive, so let's give that a try. Perfect. Maybe a little gaming.
That came up quick. Listen to that sound chip.
Wow.
But if you're going camping, this would be perfect. You can
That
just set up
happened.
this, that'll be out in the boonies and play Texture.
But battery's down to 12.4 volts, 8 amps DC. There you go.
Cool
I may
stuff.
have just made history.
That was cool.
Yep.
Okay. Did you want me to show off the other picture here too from Rob Ivy with the Coco? Did you post that link for me to show or no?
I only posted the one link, I think.
Okay.
I threw it out there, Stevie.
Okay. Somebody else did. So you only posted the one link, which was that one. Okay. So here's the other picture though. Let me pull this up real quick. So here's a picture from Mo Cool, where he actually painted his Coco SDC. So he painted in the words Coco SDC in black, and then he added the RGB lines underneath it. So that's pretty cool. And then he added a little micro SD card image to that. And then the other one was a cool thing from Rob Ivy, where he says, new old stock Coco 1 shells, anyone? I don't know if he's got more than one of these. Oh, look, I'm getting that same 300 baud dial-up issue now, too, trying to switch images. Wonder if it's a Facebook issue.
Could be.
Yeah. So here's a picture Rob Ivy posted of a brand new sealed silver Coco shell. That's kind of cool. Yeah, cool stuff.
You don't see those in the market too often.
I will stop sharing. Did you have anything else you wanted to show off, Curtis?
I have a couple more.
Okay.
So.
You have the floor, sir.
Let me switch over. Where's my Zoom? You getting it?
Yep, we see it.
Okay, this was for our Dragon brethren in the UK. The third annual Dragon meeting for 2019 is going to be held on July 6th. So,
oh wow!
At the Center for Computing History in Cambridge.
Don't they know that's right around the time we celebrate the 4th of July? They have no respect for our American holidays.
Yeah, or Canadian. I mean, our July 1st is our birthday, and that's on Monday.
So, that's cool.
So anybody that's in the UK and in that Cambridge area, I would definitely go check that out. It's been pretty successful last while, and they usually bring out the Dragon Alpha and some of the other prototype ones that never fully went on sale. And a lot of cool stuff.
Nice design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, July 4th is not exactly a holiday in Great Britain.
Yeah, it's American Treason Day. Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, I would love to go to one of these at some point in time. I'd love to get out to the UK.
Yeah, me too.
One of these days we'll have international CoCoTALK, so we'll hang out at Nick.
As soon as my lottery retirement savings plan kicks in, that's when I'll be going.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to blow stuff up on the 4th of July?
Yeah, I'm going to plug in my Coco to a 220 outlet.
Yeah. A solar-powered 220 outlet.
Yeah. Boom!
Boom!
And then daisy chain multi-pack interfaces while you're at it.
That was interesting to see the multi-pack plugged into the multi-pack.
Yeah, that was.
That was like out there, wasn't it? It was totally out there.
Yeah. I'm surprised it didn't blow up, to be honest.
Yes.
Retro Arcade Gaming has been doing the comparison videos.
Yeah.
Has put out a new one for Galaxian, and he does both the official ports if you have them, and then he also does the unofficial
clones.
Now, Galaxian, because it was such a popular game, I mean, every computer had a version of it and had multiple versions of it, including the Coco. So in this case, he just selected what he thought was the best one, which is Galax Attack, which ironically Brian just got. Brian Wheeler has just gotten the manual and stuff from Spectral Associates. That's the one he plays in this particular one.
Okay.
That's the only one that he does for the Coco. So I'll play it for those who have never seen Galax Attacks before, so you can see what it looks like. But then I wouldn't mind a quick discussion amongst the panel here. Out of all the Galaxian games we do have, because there's multiple Spacehawk and multiple other ones from other Galactic Attack from Tandy, etc. Do you agree with his assessment that Galax Attacks is the best of the Galaxian clones that we have, or is there something that maybe he should have picked instead?
Well, let's play it and see, because I don't even remember this one in particular.
And since I don't have audio, I'll skip this part.
Okay, here's the Coco. Just by looking at it, I would say visually it's probably not one of the better ones, but maybe play-wise, I would have to play it. I vaguely remember playing this one.
Yeah, there was an updated version where they redid the alien shape, so it's a lot closer to the original arcade. You can see a screenshot of that on my webpage.
Okay.
The revision that came out. This is the original version that came out in 80.
This looks like basically P Mode 1 level graphics almost.
It's P Mode 4.
Is it P Mode 4? Or technically P Mode 3. but I'm not overwhelmed by the visuals. But I would have to say I'd have to play it to see for sure. Because at the end of the day, it's really the how well does it play.
Yeah, you move really fast. Like that's one main difference with the original Galaxy Arcade, because your ship moved fairly slowly left to right. This one you just blast across the screen. It's almost too fast.
Okay.
So is the P-Mode 4 version US version only? Because I had Galax Attacks in the UK, which was a P-Mode 3 version.
Yeah, no, Spectral patched it for the Dragon and PAL market because, of course, you didn't have artifact colors. So, but the original one was artifact, and that was in the States and Canada.
Look at that.
We had a P-Mode 3 version of that.
Yeah.
Look at down along the bottom. It says year 1977.
That's the. Oh yeah, that's wrong. I think he just lumped in TRS 80 as one generic date because that's the year the TRS 80 Model 1 came out.
No.
Yeah, I should mention that to him that is incorrect for Coco.
Color
model.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
But I mean, there was the Galactic Attack cartridge by Tandy, which only had 8 aliens at once on the screen. So that's their version of it, basically. Spacehawk, Glaxons, as Nick Marode had mentioned earlier, which looks a lot closer to the arcade game, but the gameplay is very different because you have vertical movement. It's like Gore for if you shoot while a shot's in the air, the old one stops and the new one takes over. Yeah, there's a lot of differences on that one, but visually it looks closer. I guess technically, Galagon or Xenix is also a Galaxian style game. Galaga is more of a different game too, with the dual ships, etc., and capture. I'm just trying to remember what other ones there are. There's so many of them, I can't remember them all. But has anybody here got a personal favorite that was not Galax Attacks for a Galaxian clone for the Coco?
I'd have to play them again, and maybe that could be a theme that we do when we do another live gaming marathon, is do a theme of games that all were clones of the same thing. Since none of them come to mind right now, since I don't have any recollections of my personal favorite of Galaxian clones myself.
Yeah, what we should have is a CoCoTALK certified program.
I would have to say that Galagon was definitely one of the best, if not the only Galaga clone. Galagon was like almost arcade perfect.
Yeah, and Xenix you could count as a really good one too, but it's not pure Galagon and it's not pure Galaxian. So it's,
right. So that's a great question. Unfortunately, I don't have enough of my own personal memories to say this is my favorite Galaxian clone. Anyone else? Going once, going twice. Okay.
I'm just gonna hit my page because I think I don't have all the clones on here yet, but I do have.
So when it comes to Galaxian clones, we had Birds. I remember playing Birds, and it was a little underwhelming. It's kind of slow.
Yeah.
Galactic Attack was the cartridge, right?
Yeah, that was the Tandy one.
And that had pretty much a same repeated play field of the 8 aliens that moved around. So
they just had that night mode where they changed the palette.
Okay. Okay. Then we have Galax Attack. Is that the one? So we have 2 different versions of Galax.
Yeah, this is the revised graphics that they put in. It's the same game, exactly the same
but
game.
But now it's called Space Ambush.
No, Galax Attack's the 1982 one. Like the one we just watched him play on the video is that exact same game except with the original shapes, which were not.
Oh, okay. So this is the updated Galax Attacks with the more arcade-looking spaceships.
Yeah, but the gameplay is exactly the same.
Okay.
And then Space Ambush was by Computerware.
Okay.
And then derivative, I have Galaxons, which you can see looks closer to the original arcade, but that, like I said, it had vertical movement and stopping shots mid fire, etc. So that the gameplay is quite different.
Okay.
And then Spacehawk was one they actually put into Hot Coco magazine that's kind of based on it too. So, do you remember any of these, Stevie? Playing?
Like I say, not because I don't have like playtest memory, so I'm looking at the screenshots. Yeah, but so we would have to do this one night live. We'll just do a little marathon and we'll play the Galaxian offerings and we'll see which one we like the best.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And then this is the last one I got here, and Simon can chime in on this one a little bit. But basically, Paul and Simon are working on a massive Coco game that they want to do, Coco 3, I believe. And they're asking for some help to people in the community who help, commit to writing music for it, to doing graphics design for it, maybe helping some of the programming for it. I'm not exactly sure what exactly they're all looking for. And since Simon's actually here now, he can actually speak up for that. But there's been a lot of reaction to it already. There's been 42 comments back and forth. So, Simon, if you have anything to add, or what the exact purpose is, or exactly what type of people you're looking for.
Yeah, well, Paul sprung that on me yesterday.
Oh, you didn't know about it?
No, I had a good chat with Paul yesterday, and he sprung it on me. It's like, well, okay, we need to do like a collab, and we need to get the most wicked Coco game out there. We need to get multiple programmers. We need to get graphicians. We need to get musical guys, whatever, and just do a complete, like you would a modern game, where you've got a team. Yeah, instead of just one guy slogging it out. Or two guys slogging it out. So it's basically a call for a team. And that's what is. And I mean, I've read the feedback on it today. I mean, I've not been home very much today, but I've read the feedback on it today. It's like people are willing to help. Okay, what can I offer? This, that, and the other. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's really good, because the collaboration. I mean, my demo for Coco Fest wouldn't have been a demo without a collaboration. Yeah.
Yeah, because you had musicians and stuff helping you with the soundtracks and stuff, right?
Yeah, I had graphic artists, I had musicians, stuff like that. I was just a lone coder, So this is what we're kind of asking for. We're saying, okay, let's just get the community together, and maybe you're a game designer, maybe you're a tester, maybe you're a musician, maybe you're a graphic artist, maybe I'm a coder, maybe you're a coder, and let's just do one big collaboration. So I don't know if the idea sounds totally...
No, it sounds like a good idea. I think the challenge, if anything else, is having the people staying committed to that, So I think a lot of people will jump on board with an idea, but hopefully
people always fall by the wayside, people fall by the wayside, but some of us are committed, I mean, if you reach out to people, and they climb on board, they might be committed for, let's say, 6 months, or they might be committed for the long haul. Who knows?
Yeah, and even if it's a short-term commitment, if you get something out of them that goes into the pot to make the project better, then it's all good. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's the reckoning behind. I think that's the reckoning behind Paul reaching out like that.
So really, it's a crowdsourced. You're crowdsourcing everybody to give you to lend their talents wherever they have them.
Yeah, and it plays to people's specialties too, because some people just don't have the coding mindset where they can learn intricate machine language coding, but they might be able to draw you some great sprite shit.
Yeah, if you give them a sprite editor or a tracker, if you've got a couple tools that will integrate into your development environment, so here's our sprite generator. Use this tool to create characters. Here's our tracker. Use this tool to create sounds. That would be great.
So, but yeah, that's basically the deal on that.
Is there any details of the game you want to reveal? Like, is it a certain genre, etc., or is it a secret thing? Or I don't sure.
No, I started the other day. I started playing with some platformer. I started playing with some platformer from a C64, and I actually had the tiles from C64. But I know this is not a C64 show, so the word C64 comes across as being totally wrong. I know that.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
you're among friends.
I would just ribbon before.
But if you look at the C64, you have a redefinable character set, and that in itself is paramount, because you can define a tile from, say, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, whatever, on the screen. But you can't do that on a Coco because everything's bitmap. And I tried converting something from C64, and I got it to work. Don't get me wrong, I got it to work, but it was slower than molasses, swimming through molasses. It's bitmap, even with stack blasting. So we're like, okay, what are we going to do here? And I was like, well, I mean, I've done demos, I've done music, I've this, that, and the other, and I'm okay. I really want to do a game, but what game am I going to do? I don't want to copy anything because it's too easy to just take. It's not easy to take an arcade game and copy that. I'm not saying that, but it's too easy to copy someone's idea. If you get what I mean.
Yeah, it's harder to come up with an original concept.
Yeah. It's really hard to come up with an original concept. So the more minds you have in this, I mean, you could take, let's say you can take Pac-Man and you could take Rambo and you can have Pac-Man shooting aliens or what, you know? So it's all pie in the sky for now. It's all pie in the sky. But I mean, me and Paul have worked on various concepts. I mean, Paul's got about 3 or 4 different games in his belt, where he's just kind of, yeah, okay, I'm not interested anymore. So again, this I'm not interested anymore is okay. Can someone just prod you in the side and say, well, come on, this is a good concept. Can we move on? Can we get this somewhere?
Yeah, I like the idea.
I don't know if it makes sense to you.
No, it does. I mean, to be honest, that's how Nitrous 9 was done. It was 3 or 4 of us, and depending on what era, different people were involved. That because you start getting burned out after you're just doing a solo project for too long, and then unless you have the self-discipline of a Nick Marentes, you do kind of I'd rather do something else now. I've been working on this for 6 months or something like that, and it's not done yet. And
oh yeah,
I don't really like drawing all these graphics myself. I'm not a graphic artist, and these shapes don't look that good, and the game's less impressive to me as a coder. And then you kind of step it off and go on to something else. So
exactly, which is what we're trying to reach out to the community and say, okay, because we've seen talent in various places. And it doesn't matter if you're a basic coder. It doesn't matter if you're a graphic artist, a musician, whatever. We're looking for a bunch of talent, and we're just going to sit down in a ring, and we just do we're just going to do stick our heads together and do a brainstorm, and okay, we're going to make this.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea because, I mean, the people that like coding. They don't necessarily like trying to write music or drawing maps or tiles or sprites or whatever else. So having that to people that is their specialty or that is their love, but don't have the coding skills and combining. I mean, I think Paul mentioned it in the post too. I mean, some bigger programming projects, even on the Coco, have been collaborative efforts between multiple people.
Yeah.
And usually, as long as the people can work together well, actually comes out with a better result than any of the individuals could have done on their own.
Exactly. And that is, I mean, that will actually bring the community more together.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
So, but that's a day on that.
Okay. And the best way for people to volunteer right now is by responding to the Facebook posting that Paul Thayer threw out there.
Yeah, I think he threw his email address up there somewhere. I mean,
okay.
If people can respond to Paul Thayer, people can respond to me. I mean, I'll just pass it on. So yeah, whatever, it's fine because we're just looking for a bunch of talent. Sit down, do a program, and make it the best game the Coco's ever had.
Okay, there you go.
Cool. And that's it for news for me, so I will stop sharing.
And that concludes the news. All right, good stuff. So a lot of stuff going on this week. Good stuff. Thank you, Curtis Boyle. Thank you. So crowdsourcing a game project sounds like a good idea, and hopefully we'll get some people to kind of commit to doing that and start lending their talents. Far out. Now, do we have a... Nick, are we going to do a game on segment? Are you going to talk about your Gunstar?
I can do. I mean, if people want to see it or haven't seen the web page already,
okay,
we can play the video. Yeah,
I have the YouTube video. So how about we take a commercial break and then we'll come back and we'll have a game on section and we'll hear about Nick Marentes and his latest update to Gunstar. Does that sound good, everybody?
Sounds good.
Yep.
All right. So we'll be back after these words, people.
Hey, this is Bruce Moore, author of Force of Doom, and you're watching the original gamer Stevie Stroke.
Only the bravest souls enter. Only the most cunning return. Defeat innumerable monsters to ransom the king's scepter, stolen by the evil wizard. Your sword, shield, and wits are your only allies. Pray you find a magical inn as your only respite in the forest of doom.
For the tiny color computer 1, 2, and 3.
November 2017, if you dare.
It's a Radio Shack Merry Christmas.
Oh, I remember that Christmas. Dad gave me my first shortwave radio from Radio Shack. What memories. This Christmas, we got our son's Color Computer 3 from Radio Shack. It hooks right up to our TV and was on sale for less than $130. The Color Computer 3 makes learning fun. Jimmy even lets me use it for word process when he isn't playing computer games. Lucky I still got my shortwave.
Save $70 on the sale-priced Color Computer 3, only at Radio Shack.
Hi, it's Ron Dovo, Timberman, and this is CoCoTALK.
In a world where RGB produces black and white video, one cable can make a difference. Switcheroo. CoCo3ScartCable.com.
Some people have big plans after school. You know what Elliot's going to do? Jeff, too. Elliot's at work on a book report using Scripted on Radio Shack's Color Computer 3. It hooks up to his TV. And Jeff's at his Radio Shack Color Computer 3 playing the newest football game. But wait, what's Elliot doing playing New Super Pitfall? And Jeff's having a blast with a new math tutor. You never know what you might try with more than 100 programs for fun and learning. Radio Shack's Color Computer 3 comes with everything you see here. Other items each sold separately. Only at Radio Shack.
We now return you to CoCoTALK.
That Jeff's having a blast with the new math tutor. I can't remember how many times I had a blast with the new math tutor. So because this is a professional show, we've got a nice infographic here. We're going to do a segment here called Game On, where we talk about game development, and we happen to have a game developer with us here on the program. So we'll hear about the game he's currently developing after this professional infographic. All right, everybody, get ready for another episode of Game On, featuring Australia's own Nick Marentes in his current game, Gunstar. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and roll the video, Nick. Does the video kind of explain itself?
Yep. Pretty well, yeah.
All right. If you guys need any help translating the Australian into English, let us know.
Crikey.
Crikey.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to Chapter 17 of my Gunstar video blog titled Killing Aliens. Okay, so what I've added in this chapter is the ability to shoot the aliens. The collision detection is now operating and I can kill the aliens. They blow up. Their score is represented on the score display. Currently at the moment I am still invincible. They can't kill me, so I'm immune to their attacks or any of them running into me. They don't shoot yet, so that'll be in the next chapter. But let's go ahead and see the game.
Just see Stevie's score.
Okay, so what we have going now is various aliens I've set up to come down and attack you. As I said, they're not firing, but when I fire on them, they do explode. Currently, I'm only showing the first 3 aliens that appear. There's some more which come up later when you're approaching the alien home world. They're not shown here. I'll keep that as a surprise for people who buy the game and get that far. Also, I've got the various tachyon charge objects coming down the screen, which are those little blue flashing boxes that come down, and there's also some fusion charge ones, which are the red ones that come down, and you shoot those and you increase your tachyon charge, which is the energy your spaceship requires to keep flying and stay alive. And the red ones, the fusion charge, is for the smart bomb, which I can still activate with the cheat mode I've got on here. And I'll turn that on, which I've just done now. You can see the barrel on the gun spinning. If I hold the fire button down for a couple of seconds, I'll unleash the fusion bomb, which will destroy everything, every alien on screen at a time, and you get the points for those. And you use that in desperate situations when you just there's too much coming at you. You just got to get through this level without getting hit. Just smart bomb them. Well, that's all to report for this month. So until next time.
All right, and we're back. And cool segment there, Nick. It's looking really smooth how these guys are moving around. The bad guys are.
Yeah, I can actually understand what that guy was saying.
I have to say, it does look and sound really good, even though it is a cheap knockoff of Cosmic Ambush.
Well, that's right. Yeah, as long as that author doesn't find out, we're right. Yeah, not much else to say about it. If anyone's got any questions, I can talk about it there.
Yeah.
This is one of those one man sitting in the corner, banging his head with a hammer, one man project.
Yeah.
Self-discipline, which most of us don't have.
Yeah. Well, before we get into the questions, I did want to acknowledge a Jim Brain comment that we missed earlier in the show that Rob Inman is now reminding of us of. So when Jim Brain decided to do his own introduction to the CoCoTALK program, he used this statement here, which we can quote. He says, "Like the long, uninterrupted string of expletives escaping your mouth as you slam your hand," my thing just scrolled up, "as you slam your hand on the rusty, jagged edge of the Jalopy's front door. This is CoCoTALK." All right, so there's Jim Brain's intro for the show. We had some comments during the preview of your video. Mark B said, "Finally, a game I can win." Nick Marotta says, "That's me. That's me, number one on the scoreboard." So, Ben Drake's
Sorry,
Explorer VR says, "Wow, Gunstar looking and sounding awesome now." Nick Marotta says, "It is." All right.
Yeah, still got a fair way to go. I've got a lot of plans still for it, and that is only level 1 that we're looking at still.
Okay.
And
that's all
that
there will
video,
be, though, right? Just like Popstar Pilot, that's all there's going to be.
Well, you've just got to play Popstar a bit better, and you will see there is a second, third, and fourth, and fifth level in that one.
I like Tim Franklin's comment. Better let Steve play it now so we can get past level 1.
That's right. I need to have a Steve mode.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's still a fair bit to go in the game, and that video only showed the first 3 aliens. There are still 2 others which I didn't want to unveil. I'll keep that as a surprise because they're nicer ones actually. They're a bit more animated and everything, and there's also 2 boss aliens which are much bigger as well. They're in there now. They just haven't got those levels in there yet for them to actually make their presence. But yeah, it's all in there, and I've got to design the graphics for levels 2, 3, and 4, which are going to have a different look to that one as well. My next plan is to actually get them, the aliens, firing back at me. So no more Steve mode after that. So, yeah, so when they start firing and then they can collide into me, then yeah, it gets to be a bit more challenging.
That's almost like a real game then.
So were there actually instructions in the 6309 that more easily allowed you to do the sound?
Not so much the sound. The sound, Curtis and I have refined the actual interrupt-driven routine, and we've got a routine in there which actually does use fairly low CPU counts to do 2-channel digital audio.
Really
so I'm quite happy with the sound routine now. The 6309 is probably the main thing I'm using at the moment in as far as 6309 is for the main engine, which relies on moving about a fair bit of RAM in order to create the engine, the sprite engine that's in there, the overlays. And the TFM tends to do that a bit quicker, works better with interrupts as well. And I think I do also use a few of the other registers, mainly the W register. So having those extra registers also helps speed up a few things as well. There's still a lot more in the 6309 that I haven't used, and this project is also to learn about the 6309 and start using it. And the more I use it, the more I learn, the more new ideas and other better approaches I find. I mean, just using a 6309 and turning on native mode alone gives you practically a 10% speed up over the standard 6309. So that helps. And then when you go into using actually some of the 6309 instructions, then you can gain a bit more. So it is good.
Okay.
Might be time for us to think about upgrading to a 6309 if we haven't already.
Well, a lot of people already have, so that's why I thought, well, maybe it is time that I delve into a bit of 6309. Not everyone has it yet, but hopefully when you start seeing some 6309 programs, more people will be encouraged to do it, especially when they see the advantages, the extra speed. I mean, we don't have accelerator boards like the Commodore 64s and the Apple IIGSs and all that. We don't have that. The closest we've got is a 6309, which is a even more optimized 6809. So it's still running under the same clock speed. It's just a more optimized on the instructions. So I might as well just use that. And the game itself, I mean, some people say, oh, well, couldn't you do it under a 6809? Well, you could, but you'll have to start taking some bits out of it. Mm-hmm. I'm running a virtual screen, which is wider than what you're actually fitting on the screen, and hence I've got the game panning left and right as well as
that's a neat
going
feature.
Up and down. I just wanted that because you see that on some of the other computers as well. I thought, well, why not the Coco as well? So I'll put that in.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
Nick, have you thought about marketing it with a Gunstar helmet and a joystick?
It's not a bad idea. Yeah. But that assumes the game's going to be good at the end of it all. So let's wait to get to the end of it, and then we'll worry about the helmets.
Maybe they have a propeller on it or something.
Yeah.
I have one technical question. Like I know you've got the sound running at, what is it, 8 kilohertz?
7 actually. I think I've got it. Yeah.
And I know one thing you were worried about back when you first started was how much CPU time, even on native mode with 609 instructions, you would have left over, to add, AI and add in, additional stuff to the game itself. How are you doing on overhead? Have you still got a fair bit of room where the game's not going to slow down?
I seem to, because I have actually done tests on the game to see how many sprites I can actually throw up there. That's while the sound is operating as well. And I think I got up to about 20 of them, and there was no slowdown at that point. Now that when I did those tests, that was before I had the collision detection and a few other routines which have to obviously go in later on. But without those in there, I hit 20 sprites, and that's proper sprites. That's superimposed, properly masked over the scrolling background. So I think in one of those tests, it was also having the boss alien up there, which is about 5 times bigger than a normal sprite. So it was pretty good. The speed I was happy with. Now, I'm not going to have 20 sprites on the game. That'd make the game impossible. So the game is limited at the moment to 10, a maximum of 10 sprites, plus my sprite for my spaceship, plus the bullets that they will fire. The aliens will fire on me. So it still is a fair bit there. The game doesn't run at 60 frames per second. You know, there is a bit of a price to pay for the sprite engine that's in there for what it does, but it's very flexible. It's very easy to add some graphics. If I wanted to, I could just draw things on the screen and they sit superimposed on the background, even though the background is scrolling and the sound effects are going. It's very easy to add another graphic, another overlay. The score displays and the barcode displays in the top right, they're all just overlaid. They just sit there while everything else is happening behind it, just like a real hardware sprite system. Now, the other thing I should say is that the game actually doesn't use any of the Gimme's special features. I don't use the hardware scroll. I don't use any of the Gimme features at all. So what Curtis likes to hear, this game could probably be done under OS 9. Wouldn't be as fast.
There's a bit of overhead with the operating system.
But it doesn't use any of the fancy Gimme effects at all. And the reason I do that is because as good as the hardware acceleration is in the Gimme or in any custom chip, the problem is when you code for custom hardware, you are governed by the custom hardware as to what it can do, what screen size, and all that. And I didn't want any limitations. I wanted things to work a certain way. I wanted things to work my way, not the way the hardware wants to work. So I thought I'll do a routine, an engine that is the way I want it to work. And that meant I had to do everything as a software, via software. And I was concerned at the start that maybe it wouldn't be fast enough. But as it's turned out, it's coming along really good. Now, I am using a slightly lower res as well, not using the highest resolution. That way my program has a bit less RAM to play with, and that helps it. But as you can see, that res is actually quite nice. That chunkiness has a bit of a retro look to it. And it's not too chunky. It's quite good. And the engine, of course, as I've mentioned on my blog site, is not new. It's the one I developed way back in 1984. I did it when I was programming on the TRS-80 Model 1. And I did a game there called Escape Zone. And I came up with that sprite routine for a TRS-80 Model 1. And that would do the same thing. So the sprites, the overlays, and of course on a Model 1 you have no hardware, so it was quite a breakthrough game. But by 1984, that was a bit late in the TRS-80 Model 1 era, so it didn't really, not many people knew about that game. So yeah, Gunstar's basically revisiting that old idea. I thought, well, it was a good idea then. I wonder if I could convert it to the color computer. And lo and behold, it seems to work quite well. So looks good. That's Gunstar. Yeah.
Looks good. In a nutshell. Yeah.
In a nutshell.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm nuts. It's a nutshell.
Yeah, it's looking good. And I think one of the things we were talking about last week was how do you stay inspired or motivated or disciplined to stay on a project like this? And
well,
you seem to be able to do it, and it's admirable.
I've been doing it for a long time, so I sort of know the pains to expect.
Yeah.
And I do try to split the time up. Like you say, you can get burnt out when you're stuck on something for so long, especially if there's problems and you can't work out what's wrong and all that. Sometimes it's good just to take a holiday, so to speak. Just take a break from it, do something else, get your mind onto another project.
Go to a nice calm place with waterfall sounds type of thing.
Well, yeah, well, waterfall was a bit of a sidetrack. I thought, I need a bit of a break. And I had been playing, I wanted to play with the sound and speech pack as well, with the potential that maybe I could use that card also for Gunstar as well. So I thought, well, it's sort of still Gunstar related, I guess. Anyway, that's what I told myself. And yes, hence I did Gunstar for about a week and a half. But yeah, the goal was, come back. Don't let it be a complete diversion. It's just a holiday. Just take a break.
Right.
Clear your head. Come back, and I was able to do the collision detection fairly easily. Yeah.
We did have a question if Gunstar would support the speech sound cartridge. So.
Well, I
think
am.
it was out tongue in cheek, but.
Well, yeah, I know. I mean, it could do. The sound and speech cartridge is probably not one of the best cartridges to use for that sort of stuff, but yeah, it probably can, and that's why I wanted to explore the sound and speech cartridge, because I'd owned it for the last 20 years. I bought it way back when Tandy were clearing out of the Coco, and I think they were selling it for $20. I said, okay, I'll grab it. Of course, not much software does use it.
Well, really, that cartridge was better for the sound, and you've already got good sound.
Well, this is the thing. Sound effects, I actually prefer what I've done over what I could do on the sound card, the sound and speech anyway.
And my apologies.
What I can't do is music. Music's the problem. So hence why there's no music in there. But the sound effects, you can't beat the proper digital sound effects of a real gunshots and big full blown explosions and everything else. I mean, that is fairly hard to do on a sound chip. Can be done, but even then, it still has that sound chip sound to it. You can always pick a sound chip created explosion versus a proper digital recording, and that's what my preference is anyway.
Cool. Anybody got any other questions for Nick about his current
cheap knockoff
version of the game?
Cheap knockoff? Yeah, what is it? It's a cheap knockoff of Cosmic Ambush.
Okay. I think one other thing probably worth mentioning was on an episode 112, we talked about, it was our memory upgrade episode. So we talked about, what's it like to upgrade? What's the minimum standards? This and that and the other. And then one of the questions was, I had mentioned I had recorded a video of me installing a 2 meg upgrade in my Coco 3. And at the end of that episode, it was decided that rather than trying to air that video as a segment for CoCoTALK, we should just release the video into the wild. So I did that this morning. I released that 2 meg video into the wild. Right now it's available on Facebook. I'll post it to YouTube later. So if you go to the CoCoTALK Facebook page, it's there. I also shared it out to the I'm a Coconut Facebook group and the TRS-80 Facebook group and the Glenside, and I also shared it out to Nitrous 9, I think. So if you're a member of any of the common Coco groups on Facebook, you'll have access to that video on how to do it. Now, Rob Inman's saying the sound is cutting in and out. Now he says it's back to normal. Okay. So that's breaking news. That video was released today, so it may or may not be of interest to you, but it's out there. What else we got? Are we out of show at this point? Ron's shaking his head. I heard the rocks rattling. Have we beat this one to death? We're going on 2 hours and 15 minutes. We don't always have to have a 4-hour show. We can save some energy for later on tonight. Maybe we'll try to do another community coding live tonight. And can anybody think of anything else worth talking about for this episode, or do we start wrapping things up? Paul Barton is showing us his Coco 3 repack with so many lights. I have a feeling that if Paul Barton ran his Coco 3 repack off of that off the grid solar thing, he probably would have killed that generator, right? Because this thing's got so many lights on it. It's got a hard drive in there.
He just needs to make them flash.
Yes, yes.
So it's a little disco in your computer.
Yeah.
And that's a SATA hard drive.
Oh, not even just a plain IDE; it's an actual SATA.
That's a SATA with an IDE converter.
I was going to say, you're running that through SATA to IDE, so.
I don't think so. Yeah.
It looks cool.
It'd be nice.
It really looks cool. Coco 3 repack. Paul T. Barton. Yeah, check it out. Why do you let that on the air? What are you talking about? Oh, Ken Reichert saying Coco Thoughts is the worst. Why do you let that on the air? All right, so we have some negative feedback on the Coco Thoughts segment, but listen, you can't please everybody, right? All right, how about we do this? We'll go ahead and run the credits, and then we'll have some parting thoughts and parting words. If anybody has anything they need to plug, you can plug your plugs and things like that. So I just need to find the CoCoTALK outro. Here we go. We're going to play outro and we'll be back in just a minute. This concludes another episode of CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color Computer. For all things CoCoTALK, visit us on the web at cocotalk.live. We'd love to hear from you. Send feedback, suggestions, even segments via email to cocotalk@cocotalk.live.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
Consider supporting the show with a purchase of merchandise from our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, click the Patreon link at our website at cocotalk.live.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
CoCoTALK would not exist without the community, its cast, crew, and contributors. Thanks go to Curtis Boyle, David Ladd, Mark Overholzer, Grant Leedy, Bruce Moore, Nick Marentes, Ron Delvaux, Rick Adams, Jason Reichert, Richard Lorbieski, Jim Brain, Tom C., Rob Inman, Mark Bosley, Brian Joyce, Ken Reichert, David O'Connor, Brian Weasler, Terry Steggy, Nick Marotta, John Strong, and many more, especially to Steve Bjork for production suggestions and James Differendaffer for making my head explode. Please help support the Coco community by visiting some of its various contributors. A list of resources is available at imacoconut.com. That's imacoconut.com. The CoCoTALK theme song is copyright 2008 by D. Bruce Moore and Greg Sheeler. Mixed, mastered, and produced by D. Bruce Moore. All right, and we're back. Let me unmute everybody. Hold on. I've unmuted you all, I believe, unless you've manually muted yourself. All right, so that concludes another episode of CoCoTALK, episode 114. We put a fork in us. We are done. So what are we thinking? Are we thinking about we want to do a coding tonight? And we'll try to shoot
do that, or we could do a comparative game thing where we take all the clones and try that.
Okay, it could be a little combination of all the above. So maybe some.
Either which way, I will be here trolling.
Okay. By the way,
Richard and company are not longer here with us.
Tom C says CoCoTALK now with 40% less pain. All right. Well, we've managed to keep roughly the same panel size. We've kept the Hollywood squares most of the time now. So I'd like to thank Curtis Boyle for being here. Thank you, Curtis. Grant Leedy, thank you for being here. And Ron Delvaux, thank you. And Nicholas Marota, thank you. Nick Marota. Mark Bosley in the house. Paul T. Barton, thank you for being here and for showing us off your cool Coco setup. Brian Weasler and his incredible boxes of goodies that he's received. David Ladd for being our spiritual anchor. Thank you, David Ladd. You are too kind. And, of course, Nick Marentes for his fine quality programming skills that he always demonstrates with us. In the live chat, we've had Rob Ianman, Ken Reichert, Ken Make It has been out there. Mark B has been there. Matchy has been in the live chat. Retro Innovations and Jerry Young. Rob Inman, Al Hartman, Jerry Young, Matchy. Tom C was out there saying, hello, nuts. Who else was in the live chat? Rob Inman. Rob Inman was not on the panel today, so he did all of his talking in text. Then we had somebody jumping in on Mixer. Alto Zombie said hi. Terry Steen, creator of Balloon Fire and Gray Lady, has been here. Erico has been here. Joe Burnett, Nimble, Dave's Hoppies, Retro Eng is here. Craig Marshall has been here. Ken Reichert, I know we mentioned. Nicholas Nielsen has been here. James Diffendaffer, Rogelio has been here. He said working on the HP 85 while listening to CoCoTALK. Will I die a horrible death? What is the HP 85? Is that a Hewlett Packard computer? Anybody know what an HP 85 is?
That isn't one of the calculators, is it?
That could be. Then we got David. So the YouTube live chat was not making its way into the feed for some reason. So David Lafanous from the Florida Retro Club came by and said hello. He did not make his way into the feed. Peter Willard has been here. And Ken Reichert, James Diffendaffer, Terry Steen, lots of us, Joe Burnett, James Jones was here, Peter Willard, Mr. James Diffendaffer. The list goes on. Erico, you guys know here, Matchy, Pete Willard. It just goes on and on and on. I'm just scrolling through names here, and I'm getting dizzy. Lots of people in the live chat. We had Tom C. From Jersey. We had somewhere in the neighborhood of over 30 viewers live at one point in time on YouTube. And thank you guys for being here. We'll probably be back maybe 8 p.m. tonight, which would be in about 3.5 hours, 4 hours. We might be back with more random nonsense, maybe some game reviews and discussions, maybe some coding discussions, maybe all of the above. Anybody have any final thoughts, parting words? Anyone? Don't everybody speak at once.
Coco forever.
Coco forever. Say goodbye to everybody on the video feed. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
I'm pressing the button. I'm pressing the button on the video feed, but hold on. We'll get to say goodbye to the audio feed here in just a second. So Roger says it's HP 85 is a calculator. It can't be older than most of the guys here. I can't be older than most of the guys here. Okay, so goodbye, video people.